Those who make
So this is
Tonight, we made history. In the words of Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it is done. My friends, we have done it. I will be your Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City. I spoke with Andrew Cuomo about the need to bring this city together as he called me to concede the race. And I want to thank Bradley. Together we have shown the power of the politics of the future. One of partnership and of sincerity. Today, 8 months after launching this campaign, with the vision of a city that every New Yorker could afford, we have won. We have won from Harlem to Bay Ridge. We have won from Jackson Heights to Port Richmond. We have won from Maspeth to Chinatown.
Listen, kid, you gotta understand that the Democrats right now are a bunch of idiot buffoons. They have the audacity to blame the queers for being too left-wing and insist on shifting their politics right. Now, I ain't saying there's all that, 'cause that Mamdani guy, he's pretty slick. And AOC even endorsed his ass. I know what a wise guy like you can do. Get out there and protest them fascist dingrods. No kings, no problem, am I right? And since you're the musical type, spread the message through your art. Just tell him Vinny sent you.
New York City Democratic mayoral candidate and Muslim Zohran Mamdani has gone over 24 hours since last condemning Hamas. therefore implicating him as a terrorist against Jews. In other news, studies show ethnostates are in and human rights are out. In the interest of providing a fair and balanced debate on this subject, Republican Congressman Fred Dingleberry will be joining us tonight facing off against a homeless man's dog we stole from outside the studio. This has been Modern Journalism.
Turn that shit off. You know I hate the tools over at the Legacy Media. So, you join DSA or what? This country needs it, honestly. The Democrats can't keep polishing the same turd every election. We need socialist solutions to all the fucked up shit going right now. Don't take me for a dumbass, though. I'm not talking third party. It sucks, but we gotta change the Dems into something less shit.
I had hoped that the white moderate would understand that law and order exists for the purpose of establishing justice, and that when they fail in this purpose, they become the dangerously structured dams that block the flow of social progress.
Hello everybody. How we doing, folks? Hello. Yeah, it's time for the ultimate clash. That's right.
Oh no, Sam Seder. Whoa, what a fucking nightmare.
How am I today? I'm doing all right, Paradox Bingo. Hello, Eric McKetton. Hello, Jenny Ah. Hello, the Stegocephalian. Hello, Paradox Bingo. You got two hellos. Hello, Zolta. Hello, Big Jerry. Hello, Securitron9. Hello, Crystal Worm. Hello, Phyraxial. Hello, Yannick de Newburg. Hello, Latzia. Hello, Ransom Ballard. Hello, James Butterpillar. Hello, Burning Sock. Hello, Cute Dark Arts. Hello, Rhymejack. Hello, Broadway Gamer. Hello, Taz Millie's Hero. Hello, Ruthie. Hello, how we doing? Hello, Comrade Girl 2018. Hello, Spot Dogs. Hello, Blake Gunnels. Hello, Blueberry Bumblebees. Hello, B Parker 1740. Hello, Pillow Willow. Hello, one and all. Hello, Crochet Whimsy. Hello, Not Smirt. Hello. Hello, Mix Rain. Hello, Bisbee. Hello, Twin Tails. Hello, Hit the Mat. Hello, Super Jet Guy. Hello, Forlorn79. Hello, Sweet Blasphemy. Hello, Andrew S. Hello, Jays Doug. Hello, Sweet Blasphemy. Hello, Mix Jack. Hello, one and all. Hello, hello, hello. Now, also, hello, Kalasia. Hello, Dragonfly. What a bunch of wonderful folks. You know, the birds are out singing, the sun is shining high, and Tulsi Gabbard has just resigned. You know, things are going pretty good right now, you know? There was a poll that I just was made aware of that shows Trump with like 31% support. Like, I'm not too mad about where things are today. Hello, Ponderous Nerve. Hello. Yeah, I usually stream too late, but today I told people yesterday I was going to stream today and get to uh the ultimate clash. And it's time for us to do that. What? Yeah. Tulsi Gabbard resigned, citing her like husband apparently being diagnosed with a rare cancer. Um, but I have a feeling it's kind of a bit of column A and column B. You know, like, yeah, her husband has cancer, but also, like, Donald Trump fucking hates her because she's been very inconvenient to him. Hello, Cyberwolf. Also, folks, consider supporting the stream. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you are so inclined, you want to chat in the YouTube chat, you got to be subscribed for 5 minutes minimum. And also, you can head over to riverboat.gg to chat. Riverboat.gg to chat. Yeah, let's just get into it. I'm excited for this. All right. Still huffing the hopium from Chris Robb being my next congressperson. Yeah, Chris Robb slaps. And also, like, I don't know, the Ken Martin DNC thing, I think is a bit of a turning point for me because the level of failure that he has demonstrated, it's kind of like Zoran Mamdani as mayor of New York City. Like, if you're gonna wield that power, you have to prove that you can do it well, and that then reflects, well for your entire political ideology, right? Like, a lot of people are like, "Oh, Zoran Mamdani can't budget properly because he's a socialist. He'll just give everyone free pizza." And then he comes in and balances the budget in a particularly difficult year. That matters. It validates socialism to a degree. And similarly, like, the failure of Ken Martin is going to tarnish the auspices of neoliberalism, and I think that's a good thing. I think it's going to radicalize people against the democratic establishment because they are proving woefully inept and incapable in a time of crisis. So I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit better after some reflection. Hello, Jax Takabe. Enjoy you a lot on the line. Thank you. I've been really enjoying myself. The debate yesterday against Satan himself was particularly, I knocked my glasses on the floor. Was particularly great. He's down to the cult core. I mean, someone I think I was listening to Greg Sargent's podcast earlier, and he pointed out something that I hadn't thought of before, but even during the Great Depression, like, the lowest level of support that, like, presidents who, were in office during the Great Depression experienced was like 35%. Like, we are officially, like, right on the verge, even if you view that one even lower poll as an outlier and potentially inaccurate, like, we are on the verge of literally someone who is less popular than the leadership during the Great Depression. It's interesting. And I think that it opens up a whole lot of windows and possibilities that weren't really in the cards before. So, I don't know. I hope AOC runs. I really, really do. Her speech the other day at the Montgomery, all roads lead to the South rally, really, really fucking was the final nail in the coffin for me. Like, she's running. But God, I wish she would announce it and make me feel less nervous about it. All right. ACAB includes Tone Police. Hello! Also, folks, I don't know what it is yet. I'm going to figure it out. But we're going to start our next pathway to crazy, silly content, you know? 500 subs. And I think maybe you guys might just start viewing me a little bit differently.
I am the intellectual equivalent of an assault rifle.
So, anyway, let's have some fun. You guys all set? Also, if you are coming into the stream, and you're seeing a vertical stream, just keep in mind there is also a horizontal one. So if you like watching videos like this instead of like this, or you like it watching them like this and not like this, guess what? You got options now. Also, apparently YouTube is going to be introducing a new feature that will allow me to do just a single stream, but with both views optimized, which would be aces, okay? So hopefully soon we won't have this two different stream things going on. It will just be a unified thing, and whatever platform you're watching on, it will be optimized for it. So that's the hope. That's what we're going to be doing. Do I have whiskey? Boy, howdy do I. 10,000 drops. But, you know, I can't have too much, but we got to get into this. Otherwise, I'm going to run out of time because I have to go pick up my partner in several hours. Whew. So I'm not going to be drinking that much. All right. Is this like a Streamlabs thing? No, it was just a way that you could reach different audiences, because some people prefer watching vertically, some people prefer watching horizontally. It's just to reach different audiences. I think it came out of like streaming on TikTok.
But what about repeated joke?
Not smart. Thank you for the $5 dono and for being the first person to support stream today and getting the first point on the board. And also, thank you for memeing with us. Repeated joke in turn, showing camaraderie. All right. Vertical brings in the viewers. It does, but I'm a bit torn on it. Like, I'm a bit torn. I'm kind of like, should vertical just be a lawless wasteland? Or should it require people to be subscribed for like 5 minutes before they chat? I go back and forth. Like, sometimes, you know what? Maybe today I'll drop the shields. I'll drop the shields on vertical chat. We'll see. We'll go fishing, boys, gals, and non-binary pals. See what wacky misadventures we get into when we poke these profane beasts. There we go. We'll see how that goes. All right. But I promise I'm not going to let anybody work me up and make me yell at them. That is my promise to you. If I start getting too mad, I'm just going to shut down the vertical chat experiment. Also known as the Lucifer experiment, which we all know invented Merkabas. Jack drops shields. YouTube vertical surfers, immediate transphobia. I mean, that's kind of where we're at, right? All right. I wouldn't even assume people watching in vertical are capable of chatting. Hey, you guys are all just excited that you have a new chat to look down on. Right? Right? Lucifer was literally a guy. You tried opening my Twitch link and it just crashes? Weird. Maybe it changed the link at some point. Kalasia, which Twitch link? Just so I know where to look, because we have it linked in a lot of places. The one on the description. Ah, gotcha. Let's take a look. Thank you. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Hmm. It's working for me. Maybe. Yeah, they're all working for me. I don't know. That is perplexing and vexing. All right. What Sam do? Let's just jump into it. All right. You had to go to Twitch to find me? Oh, from where? Sorry, I was looking at the YouTube links to Twitch. Maybe I just got confused. Can my new kitten get a shout out? His name is Casimir. He's currently attacking my legs. Adorable, fancy ass. Mm-mm. the link the link in the description for Twitch just crashes. Oh, wait. Oh, in the YouTube description. That's weird. I just tested all those. It worked. Technical difficulties. That one works. That one works. Huh. That one works. Below YouTube here in YouTube? Like in the YouTube chat? The other links worked fine. That's so weird. Yeah, other people in chat are saying that it worked for them. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I even just went back just to be sure and reapplied the links. Huh. I'm sorry. Oh well, we have a limited amount of time. I will see if I can fix that later if there's anything I can do on my end. But let's dive into it. We got some excellent content to cover today. Let's throw it up here. Guacbox, Medi. Okay. Do. All right.
Anyone?
Here we go. So, folks, we are about to experience the ultimate clash, as Jillian Michaels puts it, between herself and Sam Cedar. Uncle Sam, as it were. And I have to be honest, I haven't seen a whole lot of Jillian Michaels' debate. But I don't get the impression she is anywhere on the same level as Sam on any kind of policy position, on any kind of topic. And I think that this is going to go incredibly poorly for her. Now, full disclosure, I did watch about 12 minutes of it last night with chat as an early preview. And I gotta say, it's however stupid you think this is going to get, it's going to get a lot stupider. But let's jump on in, folks. Let's see how far we can get. If I need to leave before we finish, we'll do a part 2. You know the drill. Let's jump in here, shall we?
You want a more balanced perspective? I want to give you a more balanced perspective. They don't show up. They don't show up. So for the love of God, anybody...
I do love like the Mass Effect final mission music blaring in the background of this preview.
who is brave enough, throw your hat in the ring.
To that woman from The Biggest Loser, go F yourself. Go take your maha and shove it up your ass.
There's so many differences.
Yeah, it's the
that
Biggest Loser
staggering.
woman.
We had boots on the ground in Iraq, and there were no weapons of mass destruction.
I was critical.
It's her, the Biggest Loser.
We don't have boots on the ground, and there's 60% enriched uranium, and they're funding terror proxies. Night meet day. All right, guys, you've been asking me to provide more diverse perspectives on the show. And
She looks scared, to be honest. She should be, but I think that's just how she looks normally. I thought she was bi. Nah, she's lesbian. She's a lesbian. You know, support for my fellow sisters.
I've also wanted to provide you with that. So I put out a public call for guests with different viewpoints. Well, the guy who answered that call is Sam Seder, host of The Majority Report. Now,
Oh, Sam, she did you so fucking dirty. She did you so dirty with this one. Sam has like that deer in the headlights aura about him. He aura farmed looking shocked and confused. It's incredible stuff.
Now, I can't exactly say that we found a ton of common ground in this conversation, but we definitely brought the heat. Get ready because there are a ton of fireworks in this one. Here we go.
Here we go.
Keeping it real with Jillian Michaels.
Sam Seder, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming, first of all.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so this all came about because I asked for people with oppositional views or opposing views to come on and talk with me. And
Also, like, just seeing the before and after Sam picture, like, of course, like, that makes her show look so terrible, you know? Like, Sam is like 15 years older from what he was in that in that picture previously, you know? It's really stupid.
talk with the audience. My audience actually has requested consistently to get a more diverse perspective, and I have said that it's not so easy because not a lot of people will show up for it, even when I'm totally neutral on the position. So in the video, I talked about wanting somebody to come on from pro-life, pro-choice. I see both sides of it, wanting a doctor who's anti-vax and pro-vax. A host of different individuals, I've asked them to come on and been unsuccessful largely. I also did ask.
Well, that's because if a pro-vax person comes on your show, they're denigrating their entire field. Whereas this is less that and more, you know, sometimes you got to throw a political punch.
For when people, when they sling pejoratives and ad hominem attacks to say it to my face, and you were kind enough to step up for that, you are the first. So, SOT number 3, guys. I wanted to litigate some of this stuff first.
Oh, well, I should just say that was not what I was responding to was your video where you said that nobody would show up. I was actually interested in revisiting our
And we will.
exchange on Piers Morgan from a year ago.
Promise you we will. That's why I'd like some of your time. Okay, SOT 3.
To that woman from The Biggest Loser, go F yourself.
Can I just say again, to that woman from The Biggest Loser, it's because he doesn't think about her. Sam does not remember things. I bet he couldn't tell you what he talked about like 5 days ago. I couldn't tell you guys what I talked about on the show 5 days ago. You know, I prep a obscene amount of like information and then I talk about it, discuss it, give my thoughts on it. But like, I don't remember the individual topics necessarily. Like I can call upon specific knowledge for, you know, future segments, of course. If you asked me about the topics I talked about, I could talk your ear off about them. But like, I don't know. I don't remember exactly when I said what I said on my show. right? Sam is the same way, of course, and that's going to be very funny. You know, slight spoiler, that's going to be very funny when Jillian Michaels tries to gotcha him about pretty much anything he's said on his show.
Go take your maha and shove it up your ass. Go F yourself.
She now has a YouTube influencer channel.
Even bigger loser.
Everybody knows. I like
Sam
to keep it real. But it's a perfect show for me to go on.
Is this a meeting of the Gay Straight Alliance? Just kidding.
What's the straight
They're both
part?
gay. They're both gay.
Snake oil. The snake oil salesman talking about politics.
Totally.
I'm sure she read that book
2 weeks ago.
Do they have pictures?
Here's someone who quit her show because of criticism.
You forgot you made the sick dentist joke about Jacob Fry. I did make the sick dentist joke about Jacob Fry. He does look like Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Well, like when he plays like a sick individual. And frankly, I think everyone should be calling Jacob Fry Sick Dennis. I think it's a great nickname.
Of Israel was happening.
Talk to me about Islam. Tell me where we're getting it wrong.
Please come on my show and justify why Muslims aren't bad.
Wrote it 3 hours ago.
Nothing. Have we heard back anything?
Nothing yet.
Oh my God.
She's a fool.
Her role in media is to
Sickness be
defend
God.
Israel. I think she's a TERF, right? So she doesn't like trans people and thinks it takes away from feminism. And then is also a Maha person.
They want to get rid of free lunches in schools.
Both here and in Africa, which I know I care about both. She cares about neither, but is pretending to care about the kids in America.
Okay. Well, so first let me address the fact that I'm sorry I did not get back to you within 3 hours.
You got great producers.
Well, you gave us a lot to work with, Sam.
Why won't anyone come on my show? I just want people on my show. Proceeds to ambush her first guest with cry bullying.
Right, but like the funniest part is that like of all the people to try cry bully like bullshit and like gotcha clips with, Sam Seder's maybe like the worst target you could possibly have. Like, he genuinely doesn't give a shit. He's here, like, I guarantee you, Sam is here to talk about policy and to talk about like nuanced disagreement. Sam has read up on the different topics. I guarantee you. And like, if you try and gotcha him, he's just gonna be like, he's gonna do what he did to Tim Pool and just be like, I don't care. I'm here to talk about like Medicare or Social Security, you know? Let's go.
Having said that, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you within 3 hours. A man of your stature, I apologize. But your followers spammed the email I put out. Sot number 2.
Not sure how to reach you. But
your followers, no! Silly and Billy! It's the Vanguard boys! Vanguard boys! Why are you getting your folks sliding into Jillian Michaels' business email? And Jillian Michaels, why are you sharing your actual honest-to-God email on Twitter, of all places?
if you're so inclined, have someone from your office email our podcast line, and then she puts her email there. If you guys, want to send her an email, now you know.
Like, why post this publicly? Just DM any person on the Majority Report
what her address is. So go wild with that shit.
And they did. Graphic number 1.
You know, hold on for 1 second.
Yeah.
You know, those guys are on a completely different podcast.
I totally get it, but it seems like they're your followers, though. They like you quite a bit, along with like
they're your followers, your acolytes. You know, the Sam sons, if you will.
I didn't even know Hassan Piker calls you Uncle Sam.
They do a show about beefs, but I think
I guess so. Yeah. So then we get so graphic number 1. So we did in fact get those emails, and it made it very difficult to find yours. LOLOLOL. I think they left off the last O. You're such a fake dipshit.
It made it very difficult to find yours. I've emailed these people before. It's not difficult to find them because I don't think any of their emails are on Gmail. Like, you have to be so fucking bad faith to even present this as a real problem.
Excuse of a human being. I hope Seder guts your duck ass. And how are you too poor to host this email address on your own website when you've been nothing but a grifter your entire professional career? I'll listen off air. Thanks. I don't really know what that part means.
Was that my dad?
It's one of your fans. Then there's, I heard the progressive host of the Majority Report, Sam Seder. Sam, keeping it real, Seder would be happy to debunk all of your nonsense. Die slow, bitch. So it does seem that the apple does not fall from the trees.
Well, I'm not sure.
I'm just saying.
You're joking. That's my
Thank
fault.
you for being here. I think I would honestly say to you, off the top, given all of that.
Are you gay?
Well, I mean, I don't know. How do you feel about it? I've watched you make.
Are you gay? Well, I don't know. Like, what? You don't know if you're gay. You're married to a woman. But also, Sam just all of a sudden, like, catching up with what was said in one of those emails and be like, wait, are you gay?
Fun of gay people now, including Benny Johnson and Steven Crowder, which is weird because
Benny Johnson is not gay.
Benny Johnson was slamming trans people.
Oh,
is he not gay?
He's not gay.
I love the out of context clip here where it makes it sound like he's saying Benny Johnson has sex with trans people, when I remember watching that episode, he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about Benny Johnson like attacking trans people on his show. Like, and this is essentially like part of what is going on here. You know, how Benny Johnson went from BuzzFeed plagiarist to MAGA's chief content creator. And a lot of the rumors coming out of BuzzFeed was that Benny Johnson liked kissing other men, and like that's fine, but that those details leaked after, you know, he plagiarized and got fired from or plagiarized while working at BuzzFeed and got fired. And let's see, wanted to take a look at this. Yeah, here we go. One of his former colleagues saying, I made out with Benny Johnson in an empty dressing room at BuzzFeed holiday party in 2013. It haunts me to this day. Anyway, it's funny that he's done literally everything but come out of the closet. Men will literally become traitors to their country rather than go to therapy. Betty Who performed at the holiday party BF hosted at Webster Hall in 2013. Everyone got sloshed because of the open bar. Benny and I went into a dressing room and started kissing. Would have gone further, but he said something cringe enough to snap me back to my senses. I rolled my eyes and left. Anyway, I'm definitely not the only guy Benny Johnson has made out with. I've heard him and his wife are swingers. She's pregnant with their fourth child now, which, lol. Anyway, when I warn y'all about sleeper agents, I'm speaking from experience. Demons walk among us. I'm not naming names, but I was just informed I wasn't even the only guy Benny made out with that night. Ha 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 ha. Whew. This guy, again, is a former colleague of Benny Johnson's. So, yeah.
He's not?
He's not, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
No, but you've insulted him utilizing that context, which is so weird. Like, why
What do you mean?
Okay.
Oh, you mean like I say he's closeted?
You're like, oh, he's gay. But
I mean, the joke isn't that he's gay. The joke is, like, that he's very clearly gay, and he's hiding it because everything he stands for is to subjugate gay people.
Like
I don't think I have
you did.
ever
I'll
said
clip
that
it.
he's
You
gay.
did. You
since,
did.
Like,
you did. I'll
like,
clip it, and you did it to Crowder as well. But that's
I do think. Well, I mean, I think it's pretty well documented that Benny Johnson is. I mean, certainly not. I'm not the only person to bring that up at all. A lot of right wingers have been more explicit about it than I have. Crowder, yes, I do think that Crowder is suppressing some things.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, definitely. That's why we have an entire section of my soundboard dedicated to Steven Crowder. That consists only of things like,
call me daddy. You want to feel like that man can't control himself because of this carnal, just unbridled attraction to you that he can't keep his hands off of you. You have a God-shaped hole. It's okay to like to feel being used on a carnal level. Hey, you know what? You know when it's really fun to be railed animalistically by a man who loves you? I masturbate to meditation. I'm gonna look like a podling who's been fully drained.
yeah, this guy, he's definitely very straight.
And his ex-wife sort of like hinted around it. But I'm just asking because somebody wrote that to you in the thing, and I wasn't aware that you were gay, if you are.
I am. You are gay. You talked about it in the thing. You've talked about it numerous times, actually.
That you're gay?
You've talked about it numerous times on your show.
I mean, honestly,
there are many things that you get wrong.
I was surprised there was that many clips that we talked about you over the past year. But I think, let me just say the first one, where I was telling you to F off.
We're going to get there.
Was a response. Well, I mean, you've
We're
done the
going to get there.
montage.
I promise you, we are going to get there.
I should just say, within some proximity of that video, that specifically was when the first report of the tens of thousands, now hundreds of thousands of children, but also adults who have died as a result of the cuts in USAID.
You want to talk about that study? We can start there. You're wrong.
Oh, I'm happy to start there.
All right.
So we should play the clip of when you were on Piers
I
Morgan.
promise you we are going to. I promise
let's
you.
do that.
I want to litigate some of the other stuff you said.
When did this interaction happen? This happened, I think 2 days ago?
First, though. If it's okay.
Wait, is this really going to be just about like your feelings are hurt?
No.
Well, at least this conversation happened. The things that they're talking about took place maybe a year or 2 years ago.
It's proving a pattern that you either don't fact check your information, you mischaracterize.
Man, like Jillian, to be fair to Jillian Michaels, I haven't watched a ton of Jillian Michaels' show. That being said, I have watched some of it, and invariably every single time I watch her show, she gets some basic facts wrong. Like the idea that she's doing her own fact checking, ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Huh. Sam, you don't even ask Grok what the latest news is, do you? Sam, I notice you're not using Gemini enough. I bet you're not even fact-checking. So, Sam, I think that you are missing out on the ChatGPT experience.
Things. You lie by omission, and I can give you so many different examples. It's staggering. SOT 9, everybody.
You've seen Iranian people in the streets here telling everybody, listen to what we are saying to you. Mamdani sounds like the Ayatollah.
Wait a second. There are Iranian people in the U.S. in the streets of the U.S. saying that.
You called me an idiot for this one.
Mamdani sounds like the Ayatollah?
I'm assuming in 1979, like they're saying, like leading up to the revolution?
I guess.
What? No. The Ayatollah was in exile in Paris, I believe, when the revolution hit.
I mean, the people that have a lot of credibility right now is the conservative Iranian diaspora. Yeah, let's see what they have to say.
And I would like for some specifics about what Mamdani has said that makes him sound like the Ayatollah.
A lot of people picked their Mamdani 47 years ago in Iran, which was Khomeini at that time. If you watch if you just listen to what Mamdani said in New York, it's verbatim what Khomeini said 47 years ago.
That's right. Zoran Mamdani's entire political platform, it's what the Ayatollah would have wanted.
In the Islamist lefty committee at that time, and people got fooled because it was at the end of 70s, and they just wanted to be hippies and free, and that's how it looked like at that time for Iran. So they
Huh? Oh, yeah, also, Global Catalytic Ministries, I looked them up, and basically no one knows who runs them. They are dubious sources for anything at best. And as far as I can tell, I don't think that this is actually a protest in the United States. I tried to like figure out where this video is from, and while what I ultimately found was kind of sketchy, it seemed to be filmed like folks in like Syria. Like, I'm not entirely sure that this is in fact like in the United States.
picked Khomeini that was supposed to just come and help people have free everything and give the
Wait, no, that's silly. There are American flags. That'd be really stupid. I take that back.
oil money.
How could you say no to? How could you say no to free everything?
It's free and all of that. And you watch what he says. You listen to Mamdani.
Find Iranian people on social media telling
and a Blaze video.
us over and over and over again that the way Mamdani speaks in New York City is exactly the way the Ayatollah was speaking in Iran, word for word, verbatim.
So this is the promises Khomeini made back in 1979, pre-1979. Look at this. He has promised free water, free electricity, and free buses. Now, does that sound familiar?
That's why you see the Persians, especially the Persian Jews, being so loud in America right now, because we lived this. It wasn't necessarily our parents or our grandparents or our great-grandparents with the Holocaust. This was us. Like, I lived that. My parents lived that. We escaped that.
So what is the red? Who's red and who's green?
So basically, it's the Islamists joining hands with the communists.
There are numerous clips like this, Sam, and it's okay if you don't agree. It's okay if you want to
What was the
attack
name
it.
of that first woman on the street?
I don't know. An Iranian
Right.
protester in the street. One of
Protester 1 out of 10,000, Sam.
many. I can give you many different sites if you like. I can pull up different posts that have names on it.
What is the argument that
Here's
that
the argument.
in offering free buses that
That's not the
Mamdani
argument.
is like the Ayatollah?
You're more than welcome, by the way, to have that argument with me. But the fact is,
let's not talk about let's have that argument.
Well,
explain to me.
Here's their
what
argument.
What communist things that Mamdani has what
graphic number
communist
3, guys.
policies?
These are the
No,
parallels.
wait. Let's just
you. But you're
explain
asking
to
the
me.
Read all these paragraphs, Sam. We'd love to have 2 minutes of dead air.
parallels.
Let
I'm
me
telling
finish.
you what they're citing.
What communist policies has Mamdani proposed?
This is
And
what they are
Islamist
citing, Sam.
In
What they are saying is that the parallels.
What Islamist policies? Answer.
Sam, he's a Muslim, correct? Is he a Muslim? He is a Muslim, correct? And
He
this
is a
is you're
Muslim,
saying
that's
I'd like
correct.
to know what they're comparing. I'm telling you, guys.
No, I'm
can we-
asking you right now. What communists? Because let's argue the validity of these points.
I'm
Those
fine
people are
having you come
obviously
on to talk about that, but what's not okay is
all
you
of the
calling me an
people-
idiot saying
you're-
it didn't happen.
No, I do.
It
I
did
actually-
happen.
I
And
think
all you have to do is
the
Google
judgment
it.
is still reserved. Yes, you can find a.
Google it, Sam. You know, there will be a place right underneath your search bar that says AI summary. Just read that, Sam. It only tells you the truth and never lies.
Random person on the street.
Sam, I
saying
showed you
anything. We can
numerous clips.
find dead
Guys,
enders. You
graphic
showed me
2,
5.
graphic 4, graphic 3. Give me any one of these.
Here is but you're avoiding the actual.
I'm not
point here.
avoiding the question, Sam.
Yes.
If we were going.
There is no doubt the Iranian diaspora. They also told us that the Iranian government would fall. They also encouraged a war attacking Iran. Not all of the diaspora, but certainly large elements of it. So their credibility. Let's talk about the actual
credibility.
issue that you're out there saying that. That
Okay,
Mamdani
I'll give you an
is like
example
the
of something
Ayatollah,
that concerns
Mamdani
me.
is a communist.
Here's
and an
something that
Islamist.
concerns me.
Give me one
I'll
example.
give you
of
an
that.
example.
What policies? He's Muslim.
Well, I mean, honestly, that is the argument here, right? Like, in what ways are the Ayatollah and the Zoran Mamdani the same? And it's just like, oh, they're the same religion. I don't even know if they're the same like sect, but they have the same overarching religion. Jillian Michaels also doesn't give a shit. This is just a way to be conveniently Islamophobic.
Well, here's a perfect example, okay? There's a video, and I can drop it in, I can send it to you, of Mamdani at a mosque, seeming perfectly lovely, ringing in the new year at a mosque for the first time. He gets off stage, and they swiftly call for death to the infidels. That freaks me out, Sam.
We pray daily for your success in this journey, inshallah. Thank you.
والناصرين لك على أعدائك والمستشهدين بين يديك في جملة أوليائك والفرج.
Okay. Let's see. Let's just read out and support you against your enemies.
ناصرين لك على أعدائك.
And among those who are martyred before you, among the ranks of your loyal ones, through your hands comes the relief for the believers. And the killing of the infidels by your sword.
Like, I'm sorry.
Who does?
Whoa.
The exact imam, he gets off stage, and the guy immediately says a prayer that calls for death to the infidels by the sword. That freaks me out, Sam. It freaks me out,
and so
dude.
that's your evidence that
just as an FYI, just want to take a quick look. Let's see. What is the etymology of infidel? Can anyone care to, like, take a guess? Infidel. Unfaithful. Dustin the Damned. Correct. It is derived from the Latin infidelis. And it was coined and used by the Christian Church. It is very specifically a word used by Christians to talk about anyone who's not a Christian. Anyone who is foreign. Like, this idea here that, like, whoa, they're calling to put the infidels to death. Like, Christians also weren't saying infidels of all kinds need to be put to death. Like, but a lot of the Bible talks about, you know, people and how to deal with people outside of your religious group. Like, it's... Jillian Michaels, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You heard people saying what even would be, in like an American Christian church, very uncontroversial language. But because it's being said in Arabic, suddenly it's big and scary. Like, I don't know. People go to church in America and they learn about, like, the slaughtering of the Amalekites, where, again, God commanded, you know, his religious believers to kill every man, woman, and child and animal of the Amalekites. And, like, a lot of Christians in their Sunday schools get taught that's totally okay because God said to do it. There's no daylight here. I'm not a big fan of religion either way. I'm not a Christian or a Muslim, but, like, some consistency would be nice, because the inconsistency here is just Islamophobia.
Donnie is an Islamist.
No, Sam.
This is like harkens back to when Barack Obama was a member of the Weather Underground because of Bill Ayers, or because of
he's a Muslim,
his reverend.
Okay, he's sworn on the Quran. He's a self-proclaimed Muslim, which is totally fine. But
you mention it like it's not.
He has some radical positions.
Are you aware of what's in the Old Testament, in the Torah?
Sam, I've actually had scholars on to
Oh, hell yeah. Sam, well done.
compare both texts. And if we talk about a religious war and a jihad, it's confined in the Old Testament to the Canaanites. And that's
No, it's not. Like, if you think that, that is just incorrect. In the Old Testament, if you're just talking about the things I don't like, then it's only this one case.
Because jihad, it's confined in the Old Testament to the Canaanites.
Unless you're God, in which case you can just wipe out all life on Earth at a whim, except for some guy in a boat.
And that's because they were
Amalek?
sacrificing babies. So it's not an ongoing holy war or jihad. And I'm not saying that that's what Mom Donnie is recommending.
Also, Sam, a Jewish man, just has to be like, wait, do you mean the Amalek? Do you mean the Amalekites? And Jillian just does not hear him.
Oh, you're not?
Sam, you blatantly got caught in a lie just now. And there are so many others.
Also, I'm sorry, I got so lost in the weeds there for a second. I forgot to take notice of the fact that Jillian Michaels basically just said, if you're talking about religious war, jihad, it's confined to one case against the Canaanites because they were burning babies. So that justifies killing every man, woman, and child? They're killing babies, so we have to kill all of them, man, woman, and child, and baby, 10 million times harder. Like, that's crazy. Stop it.
That I got caught.
Well, you claimed I was an idiot and it wasn't happening, but it is happening.
Well, I think we haven't resolved that.
All right, well, how about this
one?
Sam, you debonair devil, you.
That's
how about this one? There's so many of these, but buckle up. So, SOT number 5 is Anna Kasparian. We're going to pull that up in a second. And Amy Dangerfield.
Play when you stormed off of, your show with her?
Actually, I am.
Oh,
because here's your claim, right? Your claim is that I get paid to defend Israel. I'm more than happy to give you the exact same offer that PBD gave Tucker. We can hire independent accountants. They can go through our finances. It's never happened. I have no problem doing that if you want to take.
Man, does she not have a single original idea in her entire body? Like, we could do the same deal that Patrick Bet David gave to Tucker Carlson. Let's audit each other. Like, okay.
Up on it at any point.
I don't know if we literally meant that you actually get paid from the Israeli government, but I think clearly, you have an audience where you need to suggest
how
that
many people have I had on from the other
a radical Islamist. And you're
really? Do you want to see
promoting the Israeli line dramatically, and that's your business.
I've had Dave Smith on twice. James Lee and I have spoken twice.
I don't know who that is, but that's great.
Listen to all these people who've come on my show. Sam's just like, I don't even watch my own show. Like, please leave me alone.
He's very pro-Palestine. We had a full episode with Crystal Ball coming out on her take. I'm the one who got Anna Kasparian that job on her.
Yeah, her take is not an impressive
Sam
show.
means that there's literally a line on her bank book that says, Government of Israel. Oh, megalol.
I think she might literally think that. I don't think she is up to the intellectual arena she has put herself in. Also, Akumi, thank you very much for the $5 dono. And folks, if you are enjoying this, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, and consider financially supporting the stream because you guys make this show possible, and this is just a delight for me.
Our take. And the issue was not about Israel versus Palestine. And in fact, I've had Cenk Uygur on to talk to me about it as well, and I can even drop a clip in here.
Cenk Uygur, warrior for the left, the lion of the leftist movement, that paragon of incorruptible value.
Live from the Polymarket studio in LA.
Why, I never.
Where we're on peers, and I'm saying I've learned a lot from you on this subject matter. Having said that, The debate on her take was not me being uncomfortable debating, because there was no debate, because they both agreed with me.
Laterally across the board now, we've got multiple accusations that...
Man, Jillian, I would not be touting her take. The lighting on her take is genuinely terrible. What is happening here? You look like you're filming in like a unlit warehouse.
All pile up to the same exact...
I think it's the furries. It's the furries. I think it's the furries.
I don't know, and I don't... Look, for those who...
I'm sorry, did she say the fairies or the furries? What level of Australian are we dealing with here?
All pile up to the same exact...
I think it's the furries. It's the furries. I think it's the furries.
I think she was trying to say furries and just kept saying fairies.
I don't know, and I don't... Look, for those who are saying...
evidence to suggest none.
Okay, you're saying... Guys, can we just stop for a second? This is ridiculous.
This is absurd.
Like, this whole thing is ridiculous. There are two things being conflated right now. There are conspiracy theorists who think Israel killed Charlie Kirk. They have yet to provide a shred of evidence proving that. Done. End of story.
We're not talking about that.
I am talking about something entirely different.
About
no,
that.
we're not. Hold on. Let me finish my fucking thought. Okay? The real issue here is that before most people even knew that Charlie Kirk was
Jillian,
dead,
honestly,
you have
do I have to
Netanyahu
sit
giving...
Yeah, why is she showing Sam this? What? I got so irritated by just being forced to watch like a part of her take that I forgot, why is she showing this in the first place? Yeah, I think she thinks that this is a good like way to get people to watch her take, but this just seems insufferable.
Sam, here's the thing.
This is honestly a huge waste of my time. I'm willing to talk to you about issues. If this is going to be about you crying because we have been mean to you, I'm very sorry. And I apologize, and I'll go. But
Sam,
if we're going to talk about issues, let's talk about it. I don't care. I'm willing to stipulate.
All right, let's do another lie that's right
person.
here. Let's do this
one.
one.
I'm mean to you.
Sam's just like, God, I don't care. I don't care if you think I'm a bad person. Just talk about it, the issue, please. Talk about Social Security to me for at least 2 minutes, please.
Let's do this.
All of that.
All right, let's do one in the wheelhouse.
Now let's talk about issues.
Shall we? Can we do the trans kids? Because you have a crazy lie about that one.
Let's start with what you suggested to my producer.
Okay,
what does Sam want to talk about?
The turf
Let's
comment.
talk about the only thing that I actually care about in discussing
I went over all this with your producer.
All of your whining and crying about how
you want me to drop
mean
it
we've been to you and how we called you a name,
Sam,
and this and that.
You're
I'm
a
very
liar.
sorry about that. I accept
I'm
all
gonna bust you in so many lies.
Liar.
Okay,
there you go.
Here we go.
Let's talk about issues
SOT
like
number
grown-ups.
7. Let's do SOT number 7.
I'd also say that organic-y type of thing that she represents, it would be catastrophic. There's an article in Foreign Policy Magazine 2022. In Sri Lanka, organic farming went catastrophically wrong. Nationwide experiment is abandoned after producing only misery. Basically, they tried to go pesticide-free, and it caused food shortages. So these people have no real solutions other than they have a perverse incentive.
Sam has a fetish for debating stupid people, evidenced by his history of debating libertarians. I mean, I think he really does like debate. But also, this hasn't become a debate yet. That his frustration is he wants so badly for this to be a debate about ideas, and Jillian Michaels is just not interested in talking about anything. It's just, you've been mean to me, Sam. You've been very impolite and improper.
In that when people are sicker and aren't covered by...
Well, she's trying to drama farm, but she's doing it really badly. Because in order to drama farm, you need someone who's actually going to be responding to what you say. And Sam just going, I don't care. You can think I'm a bad person and a liar. Let's talk about issues.
Public health, they turn to quacks like them.
Yep. Okay, so that's exactly what we're talking about. That was in relation to USA. Did you read the article?
Did I read the article?
Mm-hmm. You said yup. So did you read it? Because it doesn't support any...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
She's not even doing gotchas right. Oh my God.
I honestly, Matt was talking there. I don't know what you're talking about.
You said, yup. Are you not?
I'm waiting for her to bring up utilitarianism and Thanos. I'm like, she's like 2 seconds away from doing it.
Okay.
I said yup just now.
Well, in the clip when you read it.
What?
This
I do
this ties
3
back
hours
to
a day. I don't know when that clip was from.
Well, don't you think you
want me to
should be
respond to
responsible
that,
for the
Matt,
things
because
on your?
I said yup.
Okay.
Yeah, what is the? I don't even know what.
So
the,
this ties back
I'm
to
not
US
listening
aid.
to this.
This
You
ties
can
back.
play it. It's for show. I'm here to have an adult conversation.
I
You're
don't
not.
think you are.
You're just.
I think you're in
talking
a free
about how,
fall because I'm going to bust you in lie
aggrieved you are.
after lie
Listen,
after lie.
Jack, during normal business hours, did Dylan freeze over hell?
Dylan, I think, took some serious action and self-reflection in hell. Realized he needs to do better. But Saki Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Very much appreciate the support. And let's keep on trucking along. Like, she's not interested in even his responses to any of these things. I think she just thinks that if you play clips of someone to them, that's good enough. You won the debate.
Lie.
That's great.
So
you can.
In the article, what
Here is no. Let's start at the beginning.
That
shall
is
we?
the beginning. That's
we
US
were on
aid.
Piers Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
You said to me that when I brought up that there were going to be tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people over the course of the next decade who are going to die because of cuts in USAID. Your words to me were, quote, and I'm sure you have it sought, whatever number it is.
I do.
Your words, that's a red herring.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said to me, read a book.
And if you had, I think you'd know what I was talking about.
You remember what book it was?
Save 3 Lives by Rodale.
Yes. I did read that book.
Did you? Then you should
I
get
bought
it.
that book.
Okay.
I have it right here. It was an okay book.
But it should explain
there was a lot of stuff in there which I agreed with.
Ongoing
Do you know
food
when
is-
that
I
book
would
was
think
written?
you would, Sam.
You know
this
when that
actually,
book was written?
Not only do I know when it's written, it actually started in the 50s.
1991.
Sam, can I explain it to you?
And that was 35 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I read the book. It mentions USAID once on page 65, where Rodale actually speaks sort of positively of the USAID representative.
I love the level of petty Sam is that he bought that book and read it specifically for this. And Jillian Michaels has clearly never read that book. And I this is genuinely really funny. This is genuinely really great. This is better than I possibly could have imagined.
Oh no, Sam Seder. Wow, what a fucking nightmare.
At a conference who was discussing the
what does
the
food aid
troubles
run
with
through?
getting,
What does
with
the food
getting,
aid run through, Sam?
the supplies needed to grow food in Africa was actually more expensive than the actual food in of itself.
Yes,
and so
you got it.
Everything that
Exactly.
was in this book and everything that you complained about, saying that USAID was just a front for corporations to go in and destroy the food supply in these countries by forcing and much of what has been written here, I've interviewed countless people on this topic later than 1991, where this dynamic continued.
It got worse.
All of those operations that you supposedly had a problem with USAID have been moved over to the USDA.
I'm well
All
aware.
of that stuff is still happening. But what is
Yes,
not
I
happening
know.
is
That's my
people
point.
People are not getting they're not getting like TB fighting drugs.
Yes, they
They're
are,
not
Sam.
getting,
That waiver was on the 28th of January.
That's PEPFAR.
There was a
that
blanket.
Was the PEPFAR waiver.
PEPFAR
and
was,
that waiver,
and
I
then
will tell you right
2.3,
now, I've
and
got
then
an article
2.4.
right here.
Oh God.
In my hand.
Additional global health services, TB, malaria, and others granted a limited waiver. Notice posted on USAID website that USAID direct hire staff would be placed on administrative leave. Other global health programs, including tuberculosis, malaria, acute risk of maternal and child mortality, and other life-threatening diseases and healthy conditions, were granted a limited waiver. That same day, a notice was posted on the USAID website stating on February 7th, all USAID direct hire personnel would be placed on administrative leave globally, with the exception of designated personnel responsible for mission-critical functions, core leadership, and specially designated programs. Notice was also said that staff posted outside the United States would need to return to the US within 30 days. Just out of curiosity here. Thank you very much for the incredibly generous 11,500 bits. My God, thank you very, very much. Hello, Miss Jack. I've watched your videos for a hot second, and today I'm reaching out to my local Dems. Fuck yeah!
Global health? The globalists have taken over. Quick, to the time machine.
Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Very much appreciated. And Knitted Fabric continues on saying, I'm black and queer living in a deep red southern state, so I've been afraid, but I've been working on what I'm going to say to my local Dems. Our DSA has no information to contact them. I figured it's better to do something than nothing. Thank you very, very much. I really, really appreciate that, Knitted Fabric. Thank you for taking action in your community. And also, I will say, if you do need help, and I do mean this seriously, every time I say it, if you do need help contacting either your local DSA branch or your local Dems, or you need some advice on how to approach local Dems, or need some advice on how to approach your local DSA, you know, how to organize more effectively. We have people in our community who've been organizing over like the last 10 years and who are willing to give you tips, tricks, all kinds of help when you do make contact and start working and learning your way around the systems. So if you want that, not everyone does, but if you want that, you can join our Discord, just !Discord anywhere in any of the chats, and reach out to Gamergy for DSA and reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems. They've been organizing in their respective organizations for quite some time. Also, again, thank you for the incredibly generous 11,500 bits. That is incredibly, incredibly generous of you. Oof. And Quasi-Spec, thank you for the 1,000 bits. I very much appreciate that as well. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, I need to do some mental math, but let's continue on here.
That talks about the fact is that even after the waiver was issued,
it took a few weeks.
Screwed up the supply side, the logistics stuff, that they still having problems. PBS just wrote a piece on this. Actually,
yeah. Also, just as an FYI, right? Like, just because a limited waiver is put into practice, when you got all of the support systems that allow for the smooth operation, past tense, the smooth operation of USAID, it disrupts the ability for these limited waiver initiatives to actually function. So the functional result of these limited waiver programs is the interruption, the, sludge-like flow of critical aid for things like tuberculosis and malaria. So Jillian Michaels just doesn't really understand how any of these systems work.
Actually, maybe it was in March, about how they are actually seeing deaths, extensive deaths, in as a function of.
Send it to me because I did a ton of homework on this.
Uganda, April 22nd, sees spike in disease-related deaths after elimination of USAID from PBS.
That's been moved over to the State Department, though, Sam. It isn't eliminated. It changed departments.
It specifically talks about...
Oh, and also reach out to Dragonfly and Gamergy, because then you can get into the DSA and local Dem organizing channels on Signal that we have for the community who have like actually joined. So just as an FYI, in case people forgot that exists, go join the Signal chat. We got a growing number of people who've joined and organized. It's really fucking cool. And I appreciate all of you taking those extra steps to get involved. It is critical work and we need to do it. Do you agree that the 20th century showed us that socialism was a failure? Not at all.
The abrupt grinding to a halt by USAID for both HIV and HIV-associated illnesses like TB, meningitis, close to 15% of the clients dying of malaria and TB. This is because of a function of USAID.
Anything? Okay, first of all of that was done on 128, a blanket waiver for life-saving aid.
It shut everything down. I'm sorry.
On 128, it was a blanket waiver was given. Okay.
That this will produce 14 million additional deaths by 2030.
Let's go through that. Can we do that?
But it's a limited waiver, Sam. We all know that once a limited waiver is signed, nothing can stop it. It's as inevitable as the sunrise, Sam.
Can I address your two studies?
Sure.
Okay. So number one.
Well, you've got a study. This one's not a study.
They're modeling.
This one is direct reporting. No. By PBS on the ground in Uganda.
That 14 million people have died?
The 14? No. That people were dying in Uganda because of the destruction of USAID.
Sam, send it to me.
I mean,
because
take it up with PBS.
So I did take it up with PBS.
Oh, man. Oh, God. I did take it up with PBS, she says, while showing a screen capture of AI summary. You can tell because this is how AI summarizes shit. This is embarrassing. I was joking earlier when I said, Sam, when you look below Google search, you see what's called an AI overview. Anything in there is definitely not full of lies. But like, that's fucking hilarious that I got validated that quickly.
And here's what I learned. Since the 2025 dissolution of USAID, the U.S. shifted global health operations to the State Department under the America First Global Health Strategy. The new model still funds the actual medicines, the HIV drugs, the TB meds, the malaria treatments, but we did stop paying directly for some of the operational infrastructure like mobile clinics, fuel, local delivery networks, and
so we're technically still sending them all of the supplies. We just cut off all of the ability to actually deliver the supplies, which, you know, it's good enough. They have it there.
That's the core criticism. The medicine still exists, but the quote last mile delivery system broke down, rendering.
So the way socialism was deployed sucked, but it could be used and would work. Yes. Evidence for this includes democratic worker co-ops, which include some of the oldest organizations for business in the United States, like King Arthur Baking, which is, I believe, one of the oldest, if not the oldest, milling company in the United States. It's a democratic worker cooperative. And it is enormously successful. It's managed to survive for hundreds of years, and it is also run democratically for the benefit of its workers. And that's an example of how such structures can, in fact, be built to last and endure and be very successful. And my proposal is pretty simple, which is to take models like that have worked for literal centuries and to essentially mass reproduce them across the entire country, transitioning from an economy that is predominantly run and owned by private owners or publicly traded entities, and instead move towards a world where workers democratically own and operate their own businesses. Now, of course, a lot of people go, well, that can't possibly work because you need some level of structure and hierarchy. And my answer to that is you can have structure and hierarchy while there's still a democratic system. Look at the United States as an example of that. There is definitely structure and hierarchy within the bureaucracy of the United States, but ostensibly it is a country in which we are all equal under the law and can participate in its democratic governance. My proposal is just every company should be that. And it doesn't mean we sign like an order to force all companies to do that. But I think if given the opportunity to work in a private corporation or a democratically owned and operated corporation, most people would choose democratic ownership because the data shows on what has been studied so far that such organizations they pay workers more. They are more responsive to worker needs like workplace safety. They survive harsh economic times better because instead of prioritizing short-term profits, they prioritize their workers. They do not move overseas because when has the working base of any company voted to move their jobs out of their communities to other people elsewhere? Literally never. And also, they're more transparent when it comes to accountability, when it comes to paying taxes, when it comes to being beholden to the communities in which they exist. Because also, on top of the fact that, like, the people who work there want themselves to be safe, the people who work there also want their communities to be safe. You know, a local manufacturing plant, for example, owned and operated by workers, might not be so keen to dump toxic waste into the local water supply when they live there and have to drink it. So stuff like that is kind of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about socialism. I, focus on the idea put forward by Marx and Engels around the fact that, like, what is missing in the realm of work is workers owning the proceeds of their own labor and being able to decide what to do with it, you know? And I think that model, that transition to a more democratic model of ownership and function for businesses would effectively make everybody more free in America. Also, I think that, a democratically owned and operated company is, again, also less likely to just be a-okay with paying, millions or hundreds of millions of dollars to lobbyists to corrupt their government, both local, state, and national. So that's kind of where I approach this from. I'm deeply anti-authoritarian, and I believe that more democracy in our lives is way better than obsequiously living under the boot of an unelected leadership. And I think that includes corporate bosses as well as authoritarian political leaders. So that's my 2 cents. But the profit incentivizes people to provide. Yeah, but the point isn't that, like, profit would cease. The point is that profit would belong to the people who make it, and they get to decide what to do with it. I think that's a pretty important distinction. In fact, I think that would be more motivating, not less.
Some patients in remote villages unable to access care. But here's the catch. When Uganda signed a 5-year memorandum of understanding with the U.S., they got up to $1.7 billion in direct U.S. funding, strictly earmarked to guarantee 100% of physical drug commodity costs and to build high-level digital disease surveillance systems. They got an additional $800 million in direct U.S. support, which also flows into the country through global platforms like Gavi and the Global Fund, bringing the total macro valuation of U.S. commitment to roughly $2.5 billion through 2030. Now, in exchange for this money, the government of Uganda formally assumed full legal and operational responsibility for the last mile delivery framework. Uganda legally agreed to fund local clinic operations, absorb distribution logistics, and permanently transition thousands of previously U.S.-funded frontline healthcare workers and nurses onto its own national public payroll system.
Yeah, but this was all precipitated for no reason and has resulted in hundreds of thousands of deaths, mostly of children.
Now, on the death toll, they give no numbers and no percentage of increase.
No, profit motive is absolutely why we have pollution. Like, pollution happens because it is easier and cheaper to pollute than it is to simply find ways to not pollute. That's why the government regulation stops people from polluting. And we know that that's how that works because we used to have lakes and rivers that would catch on fucking fire.
Offered for the quote spike in deaths. But my honest assessment is that one would assume if people can't access care, there's credible reason to believe there were preventable deaths. But with Uganda now responsible for its own system and multiple global donors having backed out, it's difficult to say who truly bears responsibility for them.
No, who, millions of people are going to die over the next 10 years, but who's to say who's responsible for this? The people who initiated it for no reason? Or the people who suddenly had to be ready to absorb a huge, financial cost that they were in no way structured to absorb? Who's to say who's to blame here?
So in summation, the United States government, under the America First Health strategy, ended its long-standing partnership with NGOs for health service delivery, reverting instead to direct engagement with the government of Uganda. The U.S. cited persistent concerns that the NGO-led delivery model fostered abuse of American...
It's not, though. Pollution is an external cost that no one pays for. Many like it. Best if government policy prevents it. External costs are created by companies. Right? They are creating the external costs on purpose because otherwise internalizing that cost would be more expensive to them. It would take more money and more effort to internalize those costs. So instead they externalize it onto everyone else. And then we collectively have to deal with that cost. That's actually, again, a function of chasing profit. It's a function of seeking to maximize profit.
Funds, including theft, wastage, and limited accountability.
How often have you felt like your skincare routine isn't doing much? Well, I've been there. Too many products.
One Skin. We'll send you one whole human skin. You can try it on.
At oneskin.code, tell them numerous times that 600,000 people have died. All right. So first of all, that's a model. It's not. Here's what it is not. Are you ready? A death registry, confirmed bodies, forensic evidence, a WHO mortality census. None of the above.
You're right. It's not any of those things. It is not any of those things. You're so right. But what is it? Let's take a look. Sure, I'll accept the cookies, Lancet. I trust you. Don't use my data badly. Evaluating the impact of 2 decades of USAID interventions and projecting the effects of defunding on mortality up to 2030, a retrospective impact evaluation and forecasting analysis. Let's take a look here. All right. Higher levels of USAID funding, primarily directed toward LMICs, particularly African countries, were associated with a 15% reduction in age-standardized all-cause mortality, and a 32% reduction in under 5 mortality. This finding indicates that 91,839,663, 95% all age deaths, including 30,391,980 in children younger than 5 years, were prevented by USAID over the 21-year study period. So again, what they're doing is they are taking data to find, accurate percentages, figure out accurate statistics, and to show, what that effect was. And it wound up being almost 100 million people being alive who otherwise would have died, including 30 million plus children. USAID funding was associated with a 65% reduction in mortality from HIV/AIDS, 51% from malaria, 50% from neglected tropical diseases. Significant decreases were also observed in mortality from tuberculosis, nutritional deficiencies, diarrheal diseases, lower respiratory infections, and maternal and perinatal conditions. Forecasting models predicted that the current steep funding cuts could result in more than 14,051,750 additional all-age deaths, including 4.5 million children under the age of 5 by 2030. Now, this is not like an inaccurate statistical model, right? Like methods in this retrospective impact evaluation integrated with forecasting analysis, we used a panel from 133 countries and territories, including all low-income and middle-income countries, with USAID support ranging from none to very high. First, we used fixed effects, multivariable Poisson models with robust SEs adjusted for demographic, socioeconomic, and healthcare factors to estimate the impact of USAID funding on all age and all-cause mortality from 2001 to 2021. Second, we evaluated its effects by age-specific, sex-specific, and cause-specific groups. Third, we did several sensitivity and triangulation analyses. Lastly, we integrated the retrospective evaluation with validated dynamic microsimulation models to estimate effects up to 2030. So basically, they accounted for a wide variety of variables in data obtained from 2001 to 2021, and then noted what that effect was on all-cause mortality, and plugged in the numbers for projecting out to 2030. I imagine with a model that takes into account like a certain level of variation in due to like global events, climate change, etc. And so that's what she's like. It's just a model. Like it's not. It's based on 20 years of previous data to extrapolate where potentially this goes once you remove the funding that accounted for, 50+% reduction in deaths from various illnesses.
Study do you have that
this is yours, Sam?
No, I am asking you what counter evidence you have. That's correct. Modeling happens all the time in public health.
Sam, there isn't any. In fact, there's none. And here's the reason. Because it is impossible to identify exact numbers. The author herself says they're modeling numbers, and I recognize the limitation. And then I'm going to show you the limitations with the study that you never cite. Sam, they're modeling numbers.
How many are you okay with?
None, which is why I want to get into Sam. They're modeling numbers, and I recognize the limitations that this comes with. We don't have routine data sets that we can measure, such as those killed by lack of U.S. funding. Having said that, okay, what she doesn't take into account for in her modeling, she doesn't take into account any of the waivers. There was a blanket waiver for life-saving aid given 8 days after Trump's executive order.
I just read to you a piece from PBS that said that waiver was irrelevant in terms of actually getting the aid to people because of all the other mechanisms that were destroyed. The waiver was okay.
Send it to me. Send it to me, and I'll have a team fact check it right now.
Send it to me. I'll have a team fact check it. My team is Grok.
The new evolution is just a theory.
That's just a model. A gay model. Just gay model. There we go. Perfect. Nailed it. Saki Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Also, I love that she's like, I'll have a team check it because she can't be bothered to actually check it herself.
Because just have Google,
Sam,
Uganda sees spike in disease-related deaths after elimination of USAID.
Check that, how many deaths. I did find some through Washington Post. I found a handful. Hardly 600 to 750.
I found a handful is her way of saying I used the first couple of results from AI summary. Yeah, I found the first couple of links, but I'm not actually reading the links. I'm just reading the AI summary.
1,000. I found a handful. And
a handful? How many is a handful? Kids.
Honestly, I found about 8 cases that are documented.
Okay.
And the issue
how much
also
they focus on bathroom nonsense, they'd understand more about p-values.
The P stands for parent values. The parent values of the Republican Party. Saki Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs.
Has to do with war. It's very, very...
Wait a minute. P values? P tape? We're on to something here, folks.
Difficult to lock it down. Having said that, you're throwing out numbers that are not true. So
these
first
are models by the Lancet. I said this is the Lancet study.
Okay,
there are
but
models
Sam,
that are
you
being
neglected
done. They
to
know how many people
mention
get.
the problem with this model. The author of the study has significant conflicts of interest because she gets grants from USAID. All right, there's flawed math because she's saying that every dollar spent equates to an amount of people saved. That's not true at all.
Statistically, it is. Statistically, that is how the funding worked. Like, if you had USAID structured like this, roughly as a percentage of every dollar, that saved a life. You know, like that went towards directly having an impact. If that wasn't the case, then they would never spend any money whatsoever. Like, if you don't have a way of showing results for money spent, then why would you be spending the money if not to just do grifting, I suppose? And I guess that is kind of the argument made to defund, like USAID in particular. Like, oh, it's just going to grifters anyway. But this point Sam's making is that we have the data that shows there is that correlation. There's that causation, even.
She's got opaque, not rigorous layered modeling. She layers 6 different historical studies on top of each other and mashes them together.
That's called a meta-analysis. That actually increases the strength of her findings.
Ignored pre-existing duplication, which I'm going to give you an example of with the NIH, the USAID, the Eco Health Alliance is a perfect example, which I'm going to give you. USDA, local governments, private philanthropies, she just forgets completely exist. She ignored reassignments because PEPFAR, as you know, went to the State Department, USDA got food. These things were reassigned. There is no... Okay.
No. First off, they were not all reassigned. And secondly,
they weren't.
It's one thing to get a waiver, but if you have undermined the entire logistical side, if all the contracts are canceled,
Sam,
if all
let's go to USDA because I think you'll like this one. Let's go to that one. So you read the book and I think you get it. You referenced that it's from 1990.
You read the book and I think you get it after, completely destroying all of her points.
Oh no, Sam Seder. Wow, what a fucking nightmare.
It actually started in the 50s. And it was started by Eisenhower, and it was public law, I think, 480. Then Kennedy turned it into Food for Peace when he created USAID. Trump grabbed this. You'll like this. This is anti-Trump. He grabbed this on the 3rd of February of 2025, right? And he moved it all under USDA, and then he called it America First Food Aid. And what he did was he made sure, it's called Tide Aid, which existed, but it got expanded over the years. So you referenced 1991, it got worse over the years. So Tide Aid essentially means that all aid has to come from our big ag companies and go through our shippers. We lose 30 cents on every dollar as American taxpayers because of this. Now, what it does in the developing world is horrible, but there's no universe. And this is what I mean when I tell you it's a red herring. There's no universe they're giving up those contracts. It's billions of dollars to big ag. Billions of dollars. It moved over in less than 2 weeks to USDA. And the reason I'm telling you it's a red herring is because it's covering up for so much filthy, dirty stuff that
You're
has gone
saying
on.
that the any of the life-saving stuff that USAID did, is it your contention that USAID never saved a life?
No,
never provided
absolutely
malaria stuff.
Nope.
Okay, what is your contention?
Okay, I'll give you an example. All right. Can I give you an example?
When I mentioned kids,
can I give you?
You said that's a red herring.
Yes, it's a red herring because we're still feeding them, Sam.
To you that
it's a red
Donald
herring
Trump
because we're still feeding them. They're distracting
you. On the contrary, the idea.
And I will say, like, I understand why people are like suspicious of USAID. It is very specifically a project that is self-interested, right? Like, Republicans attack USAID because they're like, oh, it's a waste of money, because they don't understand the value of soft power. Whereas the reason we use US aid in the first place, the reason we spend money moving food around the world is so that, American businesses can exploit the people who survive. Like it is very specifically so that, American contractors get first dibs on, mining operations or what
Considering
have
the
you.
USDA cuts, can they even recognize a red herring?
I think you might be able to get a couple yellow perch through there as red herrings. I'm just saying. Ah. And so, like, I understand why people are suspicious, right, of USAID. But that being said, it is a program designed to save lives, despite the ulterior motives attached to it. It is designed to prevent, over the last 20 years, 90 plus million people from dying. And I do think that's an inherently good thing, even if it is done with the intent of building goodwill in such a particular way that American corporations can then move in later. Like that, I feel like is one of the bad outcomes, of course, but the 91 million people plus surviving, I think, is an inherent good. And I think more people need to be aware of the effect of USAID because genuinely Elon Musk should be charged as a mass murderer for what he did with USAID.
The corporations, that is a red herring. Because if Donald Trump wanted to go in there and reform that big ag is getting all the contracts and creating monoculture.
Like, and by the way, the United States is not the only country that does aid to build soft power. Practically every country on Earth does it. Cuba does it. Russia even does it. Like, soft power is pretty important in order to facilitate, like, mutually beneficial relationships between different states, such as that can even exist, in a world with states. But I suspect we'll have to deal with the political entities of states for quite a while longer yet, my friends.
And growing crops that are not appropriate for those countries, et cetera, et cetera. This is all just sort of like imperialism and
it's neo-colonialism. It's right up your alley, which is why I don't see why you
but
don't.
If Donald Trump wanted to fix that,
first of all, as if Jillian Michaels gives a single shit about neo-colonialism or even thinks about colonialism and soft power, hard power. Like, I don't think she thinks about these things at all, right? But number two, like, the problem here is if you are worried about the exploitation mechanism, the solution there isn't stop saving people's lives and let them die. That's not the solution. The solution is to stop the exploitation, not to just let more people die.
No,
he could have easily fixed that.
Didn't want to fix that.
That's correct. All that ended up happening is all of those bad things continue.
Yes.
The only thing that is no longer
I'm saying that's my point. None of that is changing. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Anti-TB stuff. No, well, let's play the clip and let people decide if that's what you were trying to communicate.
No problem. Guys, it's shot number 8.
Jillian.
The feeding starving children thing is such a freaking red herring. So first of all, the vast majority of this USAID bloat.
God, Sam's hair and beard here, just aces. Well done, Sam.
And corruption does not go to that. Second of all,
can you define Zionism for me? It's a settler colonial ideology predicated on building a largely homogenous political entity in the form of an ethno-state. We typically call it Israel at this point. Which has, in further using said ideology, created a apartheid system and apartheid state in order to maintain a level of ethnic purity in order to further that supremacist colonial end. It also encourages expansionism. It's why you get talk about the Greater Israel Project, etc. This is not, by the way, talking about all Jewish people. not all Jewish people are Zionists. The conflation of those two groups as the same is a form of anti-Semitism. And I think that was pretty succinct. Go with me.
Bloat and corruption does not go to the food piece.
There's no apartheid in Israel. I encourage you to read the report from B'Tselem that was released several years ago now, breaking down the different rights Palestinians have based on where they are born in Israel and the occupied territories, as well as the different laws that different ethnic groups are subjugated under within Israel and the occupied territories. And I would argue that, again, if someone's arguing that, like, well, the occupied territories aren't Israel, the occupied territories are subject to Israeli law. And in fact, an entirely different branch of Israeli law called Israeli military law. This is the tool and mechanism used for the apartheid system, by and large. Although, even if you were to look at just Israeli law itself, you would find different rights afforded to different groups of people on the basis of their identity. So, it's not great.
And what you don't know, and what you have not looked into, okay, is that read a book. It's called Save 3 Lives. And it's
Zionism is the belief that Israel has a right to exist and defend itself. That's not what Zionism is. And I would also put this forward. The existence of any nation is not predicated on a right to exist. It is predicated on the ability to exist, on the military ability to exist. That's it. Full stop. The United States doesn't exist because it has a right to exist. It exists because it has one of the strongest militaries on Earth. You know, different European nations don't necessarily have the right to exist. They exist because they have military force and economic ties and defensive alliances that preserve their independence and autonomy. It is not the right of nations to exist is a red herring. You know, ironically, we've been talking about red herrings here, but it is rather a question not of right inherent to the creation of a state. It is instead the right inherent to might. Might is what creates and enforces and maintains nations. It is not like God-given rights under some kind of inalienable human-wide constitution that we never agreed to or signed. There is no inherent right to the existence of any nation. It is merely a question of power.
by the Rodale family. And it has to do with the fact that
The unoccupied territories are referred to as about to be Israel.
Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. Appreciate you, friend.
big ag companies went into the developed world to addict their soil to our GMO crops. It's a money laundering game. They can grow their crops in their soil far more efficiently and did for thousands of years before ConAgra and Cargill and Monsanto and ADM went in. You just don't know that because you haven't done your homework. So you're like, oh, there's children starving in Africa. When really,
you telling a Zionist what Zionism is like me telling a transgender what transgender mean based on what I believe it means. Well, yeah, when someone asks you what the definition of a word is, they're asking you what your definition of a word is. Yeah. Also, you should be educated enough to know what a transgender person is. Just as you should be educated enough to know what Zionism is. But it's important to get definitions right when we're having a conversation about topics.
it is about billions of dollars going to big ag. That's what that's really about. And I've seen it firsthand when I went to South Sudan.
Well, and clown royalty, I think you're correct to an extent as well, right? A lot of people reject claims about apartheid because they think apartheid is something that only existed in the past. Genocide is only something that could have ever been perpetrated in the past. You know, we read about these things next to pictures and textbooks that are black and white, as if they were oh so long ago, not quite realizing that that mental barrier is made out of bullshit. You know, the genocides of World War II. not that long ago. The genocide against the Armenians, not that long ago. The genocide against folks in Rwanda,
I
not
am
that
a
long
Jew.
ago.
Theodore Herzl would absolutely disagree with that chatter's definition.
That makes a whole lot of sense. I honestly, I didn't even think of Herzl with that definition, but you are 100% correct. I encourage folks asking for more information about the definitions of things. Please go read books on this subject. Like, go read books on the subject. Like, actually read. Actually give a shit enough about this topic that you read up about it and learn about it beyond just like clinging to your, frankly, juvenile notions.
Stayed at a refugee camp. So don't play your starving children card. I can't.
So I'm telling you that bloat.
I play starving children in a tech position. She genuinely treats this like it's a fucking card game. Like she's playing different like trap cards and magic cards. Like I'm baffled by this entire conversation.
And corruption is not about the USAID program, but if you're truly concerned about it, it's way worse than not sending Puffy Nutty or whatever the paste is. It is because okay.
The budget, the spending by sector from 2024. You said the majority of this stuff.
Bloat and corruption, I said. The majority
Malaria,
of the bloat
maternal
and corruption.
Child health, basic education, good governance, disaster readiness.
Sam, that's not what I said. I said
true. Harold, that is an excellent point as well. There are I'm going to read your comment. There are absolutely people that consider themselves as Zionists that have a different definition, but they don't understand that they're upholding an ethnic supremacy project. Exactly. Because many people who might have learned about Zionism did not learn about it as like a settler colonial ideology, right? Just in the same way that like children in the United States, in like fourth grade aren't necessarily doing deep dives into how Manifest Destiny here in the United States was a genocidal settler colonial project perpetrated by the US government against indigenous people, right? Like that's not really taught in the mainstream curriculum of the United States because it doesn't really serve the folks who make, and adopt curriculum on the national level. They don't like it. It's an inconvenient truth. And so it is either not taught at all or taught about as something that happened a long time ago and doesn't have ongoing, socioeconomic effects. As if indigenous people were wiped out genuinely and are no longer around. And did you know, by the way, like some adults genuinely think that there are no longer any indigenous people left in the Americas. That Native Americans were wiped out. And like that is a result of the fact that our education system here in the United States is pretty complicit with the settler colonial supremacy project and like ideology. It's kind of baked into a lot of our culture and nationalist ideas in the United States. And that's not different for people in Israel who grow up and get educated by a system that doesn't want people to see the settler colonial nature of of Zionism, that doesn't want people to see the ugly truth of the apartheid system. And it's how you can get like a guy who was caught on camera raping a Palestinian man, how he gets like hauled out of prison by a crowd of rioters and turned into like a national celebrity who goes on talk shows. Like that's how you get something like that. It's because people don't want to see how abhorrent the system they support is. They want to imagine they're the good guys. And that is just not the case for systems that support settler colonial ideology.
Majority of bloat and corruption is not going to that. Can I give you an example?
So the majority of stuff that's not going to them is not going to them. But is your suggestion?
Can I give you an example?
You need to do some unbiased research. I have done some unbiased research. Functionally, the occupied territories are under the control of Israel. There are definitionally two different legal systems, one that applies to Israelis in the occupied territories and one that applies to Palestinians in the occupied territories. They are different. Palestinians have no rights in the occupied territories. It is what allows settlers to invade Palestinian lands in the occupied territories and set fire to their fields, kill them, rape them, beat them, without any kind of consequence. And if a Palestinian raises their hand to said settler colonial violence, that Palestinian gets killed or taken to an Israeli prison and raped and beaten and tortured and maybe let go, but maybe not. That is how an apartheid system functions. That is apartheid. You cannot know the history of South Africa and the current reality of Israel and fail to see the comparison.
No, Jack, you don't understand. Your opinion is different from mine, so you must clearly be uneducated on the subject.
Indeed.
KEKW.
Indeed, indeed, indeed.
I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
I'm
going
to try to tell you.
Are you saying that the majority of the USAID budget was just bloat and corruption?
Bloat and corruption that Elon Musk is referencing.
Anti-Semitism is a beautiful face if it hates Israel. Nah. Get the fuck out of my channel. I have no tolerance for anti-Semitism here.
He was very clear, by the way, that he didn't want to cut food aid.
Wait, are you going to try and argue to me that Doge was somehow successful? It's universally considered an absolute failure.
Well, let's talk.
We didn't save any money. The budget
we did save money, not nearly as much. You're absolutely right.
We didn't save a dime.
Can we get
not
into
a dime? The way they went about this was just the most ham-fisted way. They used AI just to look at contracts and willy-nilly. We just had a judge ruling the other day. Half the stuff is being reversed to the extent that it can be because it was done so poorly.
Why don't we talk about what he was talking about? You see if you don't agree with it, okay? So can I point out something I think that you got wrong? I'll give you an example of what we're talking.
That is your people. That is your chat. They just got banned. Keep your pants on.
Talking about
the COVID pandemic, I think we all know that infectious diseases abroad do not necessarily stay overseas, and we prevented, we help countries prevent and detect infectious diseases before they could come to our borders, and we built partnerships that helped the United States and built goodwill and on the foundation.
You would love this arrangement for your use. Palestinians, women are not being raped because it's considered shame to sleep with Arabs. Yeah, that's definitely not indicative of like a supremacist ideology right there. Yeah, no supremacy involved in that ideological construction whatsoever. Anyway, have fun being banned.
Foundation of American generosity over the course of about 6 decades that created an international framework that supported the United States' success over that time.
I mean, it was created under the Kennedy administration, along with...
Are we hating on Sam here? Absolutely not. Sam's great.
It's like the Peace Corps. This was a way to project...
Yeah, he's Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam coming out to defend America.
Or, in many respects, like American influence, if not power, soft power, and to do so by making friends. I mean, like we like essentially to.
Oh, Sam is holding back because he desperately wants to have a conversation on policy with this lady. She's just not fully up to the task of being able to hold that conversation, right? Like she's just not interested in that because she doesn't know anything about policy. She's here to get some easy dunks and call Sam a liar. Like that's her purpose here. She thinks that's what's going to make her look good. And in fact, she is just flailing in this debate.
Help people. And it was, I mean, aside from, like you say, a lot of this had implications for American health too, because particularly, less so maybe in 1960, but certainly by the time you get to 2020, we saw quite quickly how something that starts all the way around the world can impact this country.
Okay, can I give you some examples about where that's flawed? All right. So,
Which part? What I said, or the guy who worked at USAID for 10 years?
But Sam, both.
Which?
Both,
okay,
both.
Okay, folks, real quick. We've been going for about 2 hours now. If you've been enjoying the show, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, click the buttons. You know the ones. And consider dropping those subs, donos, memberships, super chats, etc. because you guys make this show possible. And I'm having a great time covering this with you. I wasn't expecting us to have such deep conversations about such a wide variety of topics, but you know what? I guess that's what happens when you chum the waters a little bit to get a few far-right conservatives to pop into chat every now and then. It's certainly interesting, and you know what? It operates as a way for me to have deeper conversations about things that I care quite a bit about, and I think that's great. So anyway, click the goddamn buttons and consider dropping those subs, donos, memberships, super chats. You guys make this show work. Here we go. Go. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn Fixer at home. Click a button. Click a button. Thank you for the 10 Australian dollary dues. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click a button. Click a button. Click a button. Click the goddamn button. Click button. Click button. Click button. Click There we go. The needle drop. Hello. Hello, everybody. Excellent timing. We took a brief pause.
Button clicked.
Welcome, Raiders. Clown Royal, thank you very much for subscribing. My name's Riverboat Jack. I talk about the news and politics. I'm a socialist and a trans woman, she, her pronouns. Welcome. Come on in. Make yourselves at home. Make yourselves cozy. And, pull up. We're going to be covering this for about the next hour and a half-ish before I got a jet today. But, it's some great stuff. We're taking a deep dive into Sam Seder debating Jillian Michaels, and it's genuinely hilarious. We've had a lot of great conversations coming out of it, too. So come on in, hit that follow button, and hope you guys enjoy your stay. Let's get going.
Both. All right. So USAID gave EcoHealth Alliance, which is the organization that funded the Wuhan lab, okay, they gave them millions of dollars. Part of it quite literally went to bat-borne coronavirus research, 1.1 million.
You can literally see Sam dying inside. If we could just get like a slow zoom on his eyes, you can see the light dimming.
Given them tens of millions. Simultaneously, these guys are taking money from the NIH for the same thing. They're double billing both agencies. That's bloat, that's corruption.
I like that her proof for this is investigators just seeing if that's the case. It's not investigators find corruption, it's investigators look for it, which isn't the same thing. But also, I think COVID kind of shows that it was good to be investigating these types of illnesses so that, we aren't left completely flat-footed.
Not only that, okay, just to show you, I'm trying to show you that there is bloat and there is corruption, and this is the kind of stuff that people are upset about. So now, if you look at, right, how corrupt these people are,
what does that have to do with the USAID? Is
USAID
that
funded them
USAID
tens of millions of dollars. Sam,
to study
what
pathogens?
Sam, the point that Elon Musk was trying to make, and he said,
brilliant little Elon. Precious little Elon, our emerald in the rough.
Sam thought he was debating a fashionista, but she's missing an ion.
A fashionista, indeed. Sake Tanuki, thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs. And also, of course, we have to have...
Go fuck yourself.
From Elon Musk.
So numerous times. He did not say, I want to cut food, I want to cut life-saving aid. He said the opposite. So you
said it was a joke. You laughed at it. You literally said it's a red herring and it's a joke.
It is a red herring.
Okay, kids dying card.
Sam, What I was saying very
If you're so worried about bloat and corruption, do you understand that you
don't
Donald
want to see
Trump
this, do you?
right now, Donald Trump.
Also, just as an FYI, no, it doesn't have any impact at all. No impact at all. State Department, the State Department literally ordered 500 tons of food aid, specifically like cultivated and created, manufactured food aid for children who become emaciated, are suffering from famine to the point that their bodies begin rejecting food. Because what winds up happening is once you have failed to get your nutrition for a long enough period of time, your body starts taking, energy from your muscles, starts taking breaking those muscles down into energy, and then it starts breaking your organs down for energy. And in the process of shutting all of that down, stomachs stop working properly. And so once you have people in that type of emaciated state, they can't eat because they will just throw it up. And the food aid, the tons and tons of food aid that had to be destroyed because it wasn't getting shipped out from the United States anymore to get to people who were that level of starving. Elon Musk, his cuts to US aid burned that food. And people have died. Hundreds of thousands of people have died.
Trump right now has been selling pardons. He is literally about to get a $1.7 billion slush fund.
Agree with you.
By suing the government.
Hate it.
And his
100%
former
agree with
defense
you.
attorney, who's the head of the DOJ. And you're talking about like.
Well, you wanted to debate this, though, didn't you? Isn't this what you wanted to debate?
It's a red herring. No, I just don't think this is all disingenuous.
Really?
And the idea of like that somehow that the USAID was targeted to deal with a lab in Wuhan is absurd.
Sam, it's not absurd. It's absolutely true.
No, it's not. Like the money from USAID went to a third party. At that point, like, that's not USAID making decisions. It's that third party. Like, if anything, if you wanted to address, like, how that third party used the money, it would be to investigate that group. It would be to, like, I don't know, break down how the money was used, for example. It wouldn't be to systematically dismantle USAID.
The resources that were cut in the first Trump administration from pandemic, a whole pandemic alarm system with people who were stationed in Wuhan from the United States, with a cabinet level secretary who was in charge of keeping the country aware of pathogens that were coming. All of that stuff, waste and bloat until we end up having to shut down.
Have you actually listened to anything else I've said about this? Because I could actually.
I've listened to everything you've said.
Okay, so then you would know that I said
it's just not relevant. It's not relevant like you think it seems to be.
You were crying about what we had said about you on the show.
Sam, if you'd actually done that, you'd know that I said that this should be like removing a brain tumor.
Yeah, this is like when a child walks in cosplaying as like a mobster, you know? Like, wow, it's a nice place you got here, Mr. Seder. It'd be a shame if some really big, hard lollipops came through that window there, smashed it all up. Oh, Sam, this looks like such a fun place to play with some bouncy balls. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Oh, this bouncy ball could hit those precariously placed jars. I sure hope an army of fellow 9-year-olds doesn't come through here with our bouncing balls and knock down all of your precious glass jars, Mr. Seder. Like, that's what's happening right here. And it's just, it's like, I'm baffled by this. She saw Innuendo Studios playlist and used it as a checklist for evil.
In other words, if USAID is the brain, you need to be slow and strategic.
Ah, it'd be a real shame if I knocked over this sippy cup, wouldn't it, Mr. Seder? It'd fall all over that fancy keyboard and those electronics you use, covering it all with some apple juice.
Strategic about removing.
I think that's exactly what I was saying on the with Piers Morgan.
Okay.
And your response was, "That's a red herring."
Who is this lady and who's she getting paid by? Her name's Jillian Michaels. She had a hit reality television show called The Biggest Loser, where she yelled at and belittled people who didn't want to be the weight they were anymore, and until they hated themselves enough to go through her exercise routines. And she basically fat shamed America for like 10 years and had various like workout tapes and whatnot. Even workout video games as a result. And then she decided to pull a Dave Rubin and go into conservative podcastery. And here we are.
Don't throw that around.
I mean, the reason it is a red herring is because they are using you. And when I say they, I'm talking about Big Ag. I'm talking about places.
Is she genuinely using they with the triple parentheses right now? I'm talking about Big Ag, and we all know who finances Big Ag, don't we? Like, she's genuinely like one assertion away from like engaging in JQing, you know? It's pretty disgusting.
Like EcoHealth Alliance.
You're literally
to distract
talking
from
about
Sam, the definition.
They, you know, the global conspiracy against us.
$4 billion
Sam,
annually.
I'm talking.
The percentage of what you're talking about. Donald Trump has made more money in the past 15
Sam, that's
months.
a separate conversation. Stay on point. You wanted to talk about this.
This is all part of one conversation.
Okay.
Because when you decide to prioritize shifting Big Ag.
Oh shit, Zena Grills writes, straight up got an eating disorder, and one of the influences at the time was that fucking show. It genuinely fucked with some people's heads. It was not great. And she is trying to like latch on to like the Make America Healthy Again shit with RFK Jr. She'd be interesting, but she operates on such a surface level on everything that it's just kind of awful. It's just awful. Like it's why I don't cover her very much. She doesn't even really try to develop any more complicated arguments. It's just what seems correct at any given time. It's the ultimate vibes-based politics.
Neo-colonialism to the State Department from USAID to USDA at the expense of providing things like malaria care.
They did provide malaria
maternal
care,
and
Sam.
child
If you're
health
going to
care.
say they did
Good
provide
governance. Oh, I'm looking at the cuts.
Sam, on
I'm looking at the cuts
2-4
right here.
So tell me.
I fucking love Sam. He came prepared. He has a book that he bought specifically to read it, to embarrass her because she clearly hadn't read it. He brings printed out like fact sheets so he can like hold them up on camera because he can't play clips on his end. It's genuinely endearing as hell, and like, goddamn.
Oh no, Sam Seder. Wow, what a fucking nightmare.
Incredible stuff from Sam, as per usual.
Here's my question.
I will tell you the
then on
percentages
what was
in
the
which they were
blanket
cut.
waiver on 2-4 that specifically is for
you can
child
say the blanket
mortality?
I
And
to a gym in Boulder, one of the healthiest cities in the U.S., and they had nonstop Biggest Loser in front of the treadmills on every time.
Oh yeah, like there was when The Biggest Loser was in its heyday, it was essentially like a horror show for some people. Like they like people would be motivated to just like self-loathe because they would see this show and be like, "Oh, I hate my body. I hate the way I exist in the world." And like it was used as like a boogeyman inside of gyms to try and get people to like work out harder. It was a pretty gross show.
Over and over again.
maternal
I will
care.
give you the actual dollar
Also, Sake, thank you for the 5 tier 1 subs. Very much appreciated.
amounts that were cut from each of these programs. From malaria.
Yeah, it's Drew Pruitt. I know I'm being a pause champ right now, but genuinely, it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I realized I can work out instead of trying because I want to achieve a look. Instead, I can work out because I want to feel good, because working out feels good, because being able to, like, run for a few minutes without being winded and being able to, like, go up multiple flights of stairs without, like, being reduced to a quivering mess, like, that is good. It feels good. It's nice to be able to do those
Everyone, did you
things.
exercise today? The fascists did, why haven't you? Don't be
True.
like Jillian. Eat a little less, move a little more, and you will be much healthier.
Hell, you don't even have to eat less. One of the fun things, I've been, like, going on, like, a recipe journey, and one of my, like, favorite things is, like, you just have to, like, experiment and find maybe healthier ways to eat the things you like. And one of the things that I did, for example, I love ramen. I love instant ramen a lot, you know? And I um I realized that I was feeling really bad because of how much salt is in instant ramen. And so instead of just not eating instant ramen anymore, I went out and I found the non-salt way to make, like, my own homemade like ramen dust, and it's absolutely fucking delicious. It's better even than instant ramen. And I bought, like, organic ramen noodles that I can make in just the same kind of fashion, and it's way healthier for me. It has it has fiber, has everything. I put a shit ton of cheese in it. It's delicious. And share ramen recipe. Whew. Okay, are you guys ready? Are you guys fucking ready? I'm gonna share my ramen recipe with you. But I'm not going to write it down. You guys have to take the initiative to write it down. So I'm gonna give you guys like 10, maybe 20 seconds to get something to write with, and then I'll tell you what my ramen recipe is, okay? Are you guys ready? Let me pull it up here. All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Eat comical amounts of cabbage. I'm talking sketch
Yo.
comedy levels. Go wild. Approach the LD50 for cabbage.
Cabbage is genuinely really great. I've been working on opening myself up to salads. I did not grow up eating salads. And so I've been slowly teaching myself to like them, and it's been a journey. All right. So here is the recipe for the ramen dust. Okay? You guys ready? 2 tablespoons beef bone broth powder. You can use, like, the beef desita stock, for example. Or
Hell yeah.
chicken, depending on what you want to
Home-cooked
put in your
goodness.
ramen.
Healthy and anti-capitalist.
Indeed. Now, I actually don't use from this recipe beef desita stock or beef bone broth powder because I was looking to make it non-salt. And there is a beef bone broth powder called Oxbow? Ox Free? There's a bone There is a bone powder without salt in it. Um what is it called? Look. I know I have it here. Herb Ox. There we go. There's a sodium-free Herb Ox, okay? So you're gonna want to need, if you want to make the kind I make anyway. It's sodium-free, it's delicious, highly recommend. So two tablespoons beef bone broth. I use the Herb Ox, you can use whatever you'd like. 3 to 4 tablespoons of fine red chili powder. Now, I would encourage you to get Korean chili flakes for this to make it more, like, authentic. Don't just use any red chili powder, okay? Use 3 to 4 tablespoons of it. And then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce powder. And The 2 tablespoons of soy sauce powder really, really help. You're gonna want to find like I think I bought a container of like raw essentials soy sauce powder, but use whatever is around. Yeah, if you want to give it a more Indian spice too, John Bainbridge, Kashmiri chili powder will also work. Then you have 1 tablespoon of dried mushroom seasoning. Okay, you want a you want kind of the umami flavoring of it, and the kind I get is yeah, the kind I would recommend here is called God. It's from Imperial Taste, and it's just called mushroom seasoning. Gai Vi Tin Chat Rao Kai. It's very good. Just search Imperial Taste mushroom seasoning. Okay. You will want 1 tablespoon of that. Then you add half a tablespoon of garlic powder, half a tablespoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1 teaspoon of sea salt, which is optional, of course, and 1 teaspoon of sugar, also optional. I forego the sugar. I don't find it adds much to the mix. And then when you like go to put this in some soup, like into like your boiling noodles, you just throw in 2 tablespoons for like 4 cups of water. Can you do the teaspoons again? That once again, that is half a tablespoon of garlic powder, half a tablespoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon ground black pepper, 1 teaspoon ground ginger, and then optionally 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of sugar. There you go. Sounds damn good. It is fucking phenomenal. Like fry up an egg, throw that on the on top, maybe some like green onion if you want a little bit of that extra onion. And also you could fry up some Spam. If you use some like low sodium Spam, it's actually pretty great. Like fry that up, throw that in there. Tasty. Get a little bit of protein. So there you have it. Give it a shot, and it's fucking amazing. I don't know how we got there, but it's super good.
25% cut.
But Sam,
from
again, oh, also very important component. If you want to make it creamy, right? Add a can of unsalted, and the unsalted part is really important here. Unsalted cream of mushroom Campbell's soup. That will add like a little bit more density to the broth itself. And also, if you want to make it even better, shred some like sharp white cheddar cheese and throw that in there. Let it melt into the broth. Top with some sriracha and a little bit of soy sauce, and you're good to go.
Basic education, 35% cut. From
a tablespoon is 3 teaspoons if you don't have half tablespoons.
Very true, Sake Tanuki. Thank you for the 2 tier 1 subs.
Disaster readiness, 24% cut. From pandemic influence.
She meant cottage cheese? No, that's just for taco meat. It's just for cheesy, healthy taco meat.
Influenza and other emerging threats, 33% cut. I mean, I could just keep going on and on and on.
Can I address that? Can I address that? They are cutting bureaucracy, corruption, fraud, and duplication. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't. That's why I'm trying to show you, just with one example on COVID.
Have you not heard how the guys from Doge did this? They used AI and they just used keywords to cut all these contracts. They're not cutting any bloat or waste or whatever.
Yeah, they had no idea what they were cutting. They've even said as much under oath. during their depositions.
You're talking about. It's absurd. There's not a single piece of evidence that there was any bloat or corruption or whatever it is you're talking about.
I just gave you a ton of evidence. Okay, Brett, can I give you more? Can I give you more?
Listen,
can I give you more?
I agree with you that we
can I
should
give you
not
more?
allow big corporations.
Do you want to talk about Afghanistan? Do you want to
I'm
talk about
glad that
Haiti?
You will come out. Listen. I have talked about both those places significantly, but Doge did nothing to address those issues whatsoever. They have flourished under this administration.
Sam,
they did nothing.
I don't disagree with you about that. If you want to say they flourished under this administration, then what I would say to you is maybe this is an area where you and I could find some common ground, because I still stand for what I stand for. But
I love that Sam just went on a tirade explaining in detail why she's wrong, and instead of like acknowledging that she was wrong at all, she's just like, we could both agree to be right on this issue, Sam. We could both agree to that. We could find some common ground here on that, by me coming to your position.
When people are hoping that that stuff dies, there are reasons that they hope it dies. That's what I'm trying to show you. There are, for example,
you're telling me that the reasons why Doge did this was because they were concerned about neo-colonialism?
No, that's what.
Elon Musk is very worried about neo-colonialism, folks, because he's really worried about the implications of what would happen if, we moved away from the armed guards at the, Musk Emerald Mine, rather.
Cottage cheese, nah. Yurt biolag, heel yeah.
I don't know what that is, but cottage cheese fucks. Also, pro tip, use it in the crust of your pizza. Make it healthier, make it cheesier, delicious.
I told you that's a red herring. That's not what it was.
Neo-colonialism is a red herring?
No,
or
Sam.
The children dying is a red herring?
No, Sam. What I was telling you is they weren't cutting that ever. It was just moving over to the USDA. That's what I was trying.
That is not what. Let's watch that clip again, because you specifically said the children dying is a red herring, not.
I said in the very beginning, and we can play it again. I said the corruption and the bloat
Mongolian
is not
cheese?
going towards the food, meaning that is not what he is talking about.
Oh God, Sake, sometimes you operate. That one hurt me. The delayed recognition of that one hurt my heart and my brain.
Elon Musk is concerned about neo-colonialism because it threatens good old classic colonialism.
Oh, that one hurt. Elon Musk is concerned about neo-colonialism because it threatens good old classic colonialism. Yeah, exactly. He likes to be traditional about things, guys. That's why he threw those Nazi salutes.
I can play it again. That's what I'm talking
about. I'm just simply looking at all the cuts across the board
Sam,
here.
The cuts, $1 cut of duplication, of bloat, of bureaucracy, of corruption does not equate to aid.
Show me the place sought whatever number where you have the proof that this is bloat and corruption.
Okay. Can I give you examples? I don't have clips of what happened with COVID. I can put the articles up. So that's
with bloat and corruption.
So, okay.
Have I ever had red beans and rice? Yeah. It's super fucking good. I have a great Cuban bean recipe and like a Puerto Rican bean recipe. Use the Puerto Rican beans for like red beans. So fucking good.
When EcoHealth Alliance is given tens of millions of dollars from USAID, and they're double billing two different government agencies for the same thing, do you think that's bloat and corruption? And
Eco Alliance had this contract in 2024?
Okay, let me give you the exact.
Or that contract had ended before then?
They got the contract, so here we go. Okay, so they got it before that, obviously. I can get you the exact date if you want. So USAID's Predict program. All right, team, can you get me the exact year?
My life would be incomplete without Sofrito and Racaito.
That USAID Predict gave $1.1 million to EcoHealth Alliance, specifically for a sub-agreement with the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
$1.1 million?
They also got, listen, I'm not done. They got $83 million in total. Okay, this is just to identify
from USAID.
The connection. Yeah.
I love that Jillian Michaels keeps showing the AI summary over and over again in her own video to try and debunk Sam instead of the actual sources. Like, she's too lazy to even
Note to
screenshot
self.
the
Try
actual
Jack's Flavor
sources.
Blast powder in rice cooker with rice.
Oh, I haven't actually tried that. I might do it sometime. That could be really tasty.
Yes.
The Jack Flavor Blast powder coming to a supermarket near you.
Yes.
You got 83 million from USAID.
Yes, Sam. Okay, ready? In October, I got it. Okay, so we have, hold on. So in October of 2021, USAID awarded 4.67 million grant with total funding obligations that reached 13.1. So some of this has to do with farming in Liberia. Okay, EcoHealth also operated as a subrecipient on other multi-million-dollar USAID projects, including, here we go, One Health Workforce Grant and the READY Initiative. Total 85 million just for those programs. The READY Initiative was 8 million. The Liberia money was 13.1 million. And simultaneously, these guys are billing the NIH and they're double billing. That's what I'm trying to show you. Not only are they double billing, if I could just show you this is not a gotcha. Graphic number 6. This is the.
No, it's not.
This is a son of a bitch from EcoHealth Alliance. Okay, so, ready? This is David Morenz from the NIH. They got him more money after they were trying to hide the FOIA requests, hide the emails, and from the FOIA requests that were coming in to show that there was a connection with the coronavirus and the NIH funding and the USAID funding. Now we know. Ahem. This is David Morenz. Okay, this is Fauci's guy. Do I get a kickback? Too much fucking money. Do you deserve it all? Let's discuss. And then Peter.
These aren't arguments about the policy, though. These are out of context emails. Like, I don't think Jillian Michaels understands the concept of presenting evidence. What is her fucking point? Her point is trying to say that because a third party misused, allegedly, government funds, the entirety of USAID's billion-dollar operation needed to be dismantled. That's it. That is her argument. It's a terrible argument. Like, at most, this is an argument for defunding this particular partnership between this group and USAID. It is not an argument for dismantling USAID.
Dazzit goes, thanks for your kind words. Of course there's a kickback. So, do you not think that's shitty? That's gross?
I think that...
Like, maybe we need to dismantle the entire, U.S. military on similar grounds. Like, the argument she is making here would make all government dismantled if we were to be consistent with it.
That Doge, that Donald Trump, that Russell Vogt, that Elon Musk
can't spell evidence without dents.
The ability to cancel that contract. Instead, what they did is they did
cancel it.
$5 billion from protection assistance and solutions. They cut $2 billion from HIV AIDS. They cut $672 million, or I should say $300 million from malaria. They cut $200 million from baby.
I love that she's nodding because she just has no idea what he's talking about. She has no idea what he's talking about, and so she's nodding along to, maintain the idea, at least in her own audience mind, that, she knows all this. This isn't new information to her. She's just, You're so right, Sam. Yeah.
Basic education. They cut $200 million, approximately, it's a little bit more, from maternal and child health.
Sam,
they cut money from good governance.
They
cut money from disaster readiness, private sector competitiveness, family planning and reproductive health.
I hate that I like her hair. I really hate that I like her hair. I dislike that I like it, but I have to be honest. It's a good hairdo.
Go on and on. Pandemic, influenza, and other emerging threats.
So if they're cutting, corrupt organizations like EcoHealth,
the Alliance, did they do all of those?
Can I give you a bunch of other examples then? Speaking of,
sure.
Right? Okay, so why don't we look at things like, how about Afghanistan? That was botched. Yeah.
Now that you've blown me out of the water on that old topic, let's move on to a new topic.
Are we on the same? Do you think that was botched?
Yes, I don't think we should have been there for 20 years.
That's totally
and George
fine.
W.
The
Bush should
U.S.
have gotten
aid that
Osama
went
bin Laden
into
at Tora
rebuilding it
Bora
was a
in
disaster,
2004.
and it's trillions of dollars. So
I was very much against our occupation of Afghanistan. And in fact, I thought that our invasion of them, we should have just used, it should have been just a police action to get Osama bin Laden.
That's totally fine. Separate issue, though. We're talking about bloat and corruption. All right. So you have $2 trillion went into rebuilding the country.
Able to catch a live stream in a while.
Uncle Tony!
What man-made horrors beyond my comprehension are we getting into tonight?
Hell yeah. We're hopping into this wonderful little debate between Sam Seder and Jillian Michaels, and I'm having just the most lovely time. So come on in. And Uncle Tony, we missed you. We needed our monthly Uncle War in chat. Uncle Gumbald has been lax on his laurels for too long. I don't know why I couldn't say laurel.
For 20 years. So you have Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction.
Hopefully I'll see Jack on the Majority Report soon. God, that'd be cool. I don't know if that will happen anytime soon, but it'd be pretty swell if it was. I'm not going to say keep asking them. I know people have asked them to have me on in the past. I doubt that they remember, but you know what? That's fine. We can all do our own thing in our own way. And I can think that they're very cool from afar.
And they found trillions of money wasted. Projects were abandoned. Infrastructure was unusable.
Trillions of dollars wasted by U.S. aid, huh? Huh. I wonder how that works. Because I'm pretty sure U.S. aid wasn't the vehicle for...
We need to call the Council of Uncles together.
Exactly, Uncle Simric. Thank you for the $10 super chat. I'm pretty sure U.S. aid was not the main vehicle of for like the money spent rebuilding, Afghanistan. Let's see. U.S. aid Afghanistan had an annual budget of more than $1 billion at the time. So they are not responsible for spending trillions of dollars in Afghanistan when their yearly budget is $1 billion. It would take them 1,000 years to spend even half of that amount of money. God. Jillian Michaels is such a deeply unserious person.
There was corruption, vulnerabilities, obviously, from the government, ghost employees like police officers that didn't exist, massive inability to verify spending, facilities that were built that collapsed into the ground that were never used, schools and clinics that existed only on paper. Same thing with Haiti, and the list goes on and on. So the point is that you can say, oh, they cut these trillions of dollars.
By the way, USA prefer ISIS, Hamas, or Taliban to be in government than socialists took over. I don't know. New York City elected Zoran Mamdani by a pretty huge margin over, over his opponents in that particular race, both Republican and Democrat. And also...
These horrors are perfectly comprehensible. I want a time
people
refund.
liked his governance.
I was promised incomprehensible horrors.
Ah, Darkane, I'm sorry. The refund policy doesn't make a distinction there. I'm sorry. You'll have to live with your imaginable horrors. Talking about USA government? USA government prefers ISIS, Hamas. Oh, yeah, no. The USA government does prefer any of those groups to socialism, because socialism is an actual threat to their ability to control the masses. Having actual democracy in our workplaces is a threat to, those who would hold on to the system that benefits a few.
that were going to schools that never existed.
We were out of Afghanistan when
we're still giving money to the Taliban.
When Elon Musk implemented Doge. I don't understand. Well, you're just bringing up examples that corruption and bloat exists in certain areas, and therefore it justified cutting off the aid that
I'm telling you that
for USAID. Again, you think there's only 8 people who have suffered because of the end of these USAID
It's very
programs.
difficult to get a quantifiable number.
Well, what's your estimate?
Honestly, considering, if we're looking at this honestly, given the fact that you have other governments giving, that never was interrupted.
They have cut back as well, actually, in the wake of our cutting back on USAID, because a lot of these programs had to get
cut back on
torn
January 20th of 2025 or later down the road?
No.
Okay, no. All right, so no. So they were giving at the time. So you have a 3-week interruption for some of this stuff. Some of it 1 week, some of it 2 weeks, some of it several weeks. But you have blanket waivers where this was, as you very appropriately show me.
This is from somebody who worked in Uganda. The numbers began to trend downward closer to 10% in terms of deaths after an exemption was issued for certain life-sustaining programs. It's still high, but it's lower than during that time. So it did drop after the exemption.
I searched and searched. I could not find one quantifiable number. I did find a really good piece in the Washington Post that listed specific cases. And one guy who went to South Sudan, I found that. But I searched.
I just can't find many cases. I don't know, like... There are news stories about this, right? So take a look here. USAID funding has significantly contributed to the reduction in adult and child mortality across low-income and middle-income countries over the past 2 decades, the researchers said. Our estimates show that unless the abrupt funding cuts announced and implemented in the first half of 2025 are reversed, a staggering number of avoidable deaths could occur by 2030. Already, the effects have spanned the globe. Malaria deaths spiked in northern Cameroon after supply chains for anti-malarials fractured. In Yemen, U.S. cuts to the United Nations World Food Program ended food assistance to 2.4 million people and halted nutritional care for 100,000 children. In Darfur, Catholic Relief Services struggled to maintain 11 health and nutrition facilities. In Myanmar, the International Rescue Committee saw learning centers for children in the world's largest refugee camp abruptly close, and UNICEF reported a 27% increase in the number of children admitted for severe acute malnutrition treatment, meaning 27% more children were starving. And in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, the sudden halt of USAID-funded water and sanitation programs in Goma drove families back to Lake Kivu for drinking water. Cholera surged. By December, the deaths had increased 361% and from 409 the previous year to 1,888. In January alone, 16,900 new cholera or acute watery diarrhea cases were reported across 19 countries. And that is just some of the initial effects. It's truly, truly catastrophic.
Guy here in Uganda.
Sam, okay. And you know what they all say? Well, it's hard to know because there's also starvation and there's also war and there's conflating factors. I couldn't find any concrete numbers.
I know there's comorbidities.
So when I say to you, we're looking at a matter of weeks that there was an interruption, simultaneously you have duplication from other government agencies. Like,
it was only a matter of weeks that there was an interruption, Sam. I mean, what could that possibly cost? One life? Like, the interruption to these supply chains is not something that can be easily resumed, right? So, for example, PEPFAR was cut off. And despite the fact that, you know, the U.S. government has said that they're going to send 2 million doses of lenacapavir, which is an anti-HIV drug, like PEPFAR relief assistance has not resumed because of these interruptions, even though it is one of the wavered things. So, like, Her arguments are terrible. There's a reason we're seeing an Ebola outbreak right now. There's a reason we're seeing hantavirus, scares. It's because of the cuts to USA, or at least very much attributable in part to those cuts.
The State Department, like the USDA, like the CDC, like the NIH. So now you have our government agencies that are simultaneously doing it. You have blanket waivers that came into effect within a matter of...
What was the date of us being on that show?
I know that you had a post about
What was the date?
That
February 27th of 2025. So it's been like a year and a quarter or so
on that show.
I know that you had a post about Neti Putty that was March 3rd, and Elon Musk said this contract was reinstated 2 weeks ago, which would have coincided with the waivers. I know that on the 28th of January, we'd already given a blanket waiver, or Rubio did. I already know there's duplication with government agencies. I know other countries are giving. I know that for a fact. I know that there's local charities. I know that these companies that are getting this money are getting tens of millions of dollars. So I would think that
the U.S. accounted for like over half of aid spending, like in certain regions of Africa. Like, you don't take away half of the total pool of money and then expect operations to continue normally. Like, that's insane. You wouldn't even expect that of like, hey, Jillian Michaels, just live on half your current income. Like, that might even be difficult for some rich people who have like over leveraged themselves, with say multiple failing podcasts.
Could probably float it for a couple
You
of...
think it's all just sort of some people are faking it now a year
Well, 600 to
later.
$750,000, or I'm sorry, 750,000 people. Yes, I think that's inaccurate, and I'm giving you all the reasons why I think it's inaccurate.
You think the models are inaccurate? You think the Lancet is making this up, et cetera, et cetera?
I just told you all of the... I'll tell you one thing for sure. It's absolutely partisan. I was able to see like different information coming from both sides. One side says nobody, and the other side says millions. I can't find anything concrete online. It's not to say...
What's your opinion on taxing the fat cats? Fat felines should be taxed, and the rich should be taxed exponentially harder than that.
That I think, oh, this is amazing. What I was trying to tell you is that food aid is not stopping. That is a narrative that they were leaning on to distract from other things that are really nefarious, like corruption in Haiti, in Afghanistan.
I am fully on board, but nothing Doge did in any way dealt.
Cats Don't Tax was a really underrated animated film.
With all of those things that you're talking about.
No, of course not. It helped a little. And I think, and if you listen to...
You have evidence of that, or is that your projection?
I'll give you two examples. So, guys, which SOT is it? SOT 13, where Elon Musk talks about what he was able to accomplish, I think.
Oh, wait a second. So we're gonna trust Elon Musk. We're concerned about the partisanship of somebody who's
someone who throws fucking Nazi salutes. We're concerned about the partisanship of USA, not the fucking goose stepper amongst us.
He says there was so... Okay.
from Harvard is in the, or I should say,
it's
someone
BU.
who studies
It's Boston
from the
University.
Lancet.
It's
from the Lancet.
I can't wait for her to say, he's the world's smartest man, Sam. He's the world's smartest man. He was in Iron Man, Sam. Did you ever see Iron Man? Right now, Sam, it's looking like your ideas resemble the utilitarianism of the villain from Iron Man. Do you know that? Do you know your political ideology makes you a villain in most comic book movies, Sam?
Oh no, Sam Seder. Wow, what a fucking nightmare.
How would you tax billionaires if they leave? They're not going to leave. That is simple as. The idea that billionaires leave in any number to be so as to be like meaningful, they don't. They want to be in America. It's why they live in America. They want to be in New York. It's why they live in New York. It's why they have like 27 houses in California. It's why the ultra wealthy, live in excess nonstop. They live in the places that they so choose. They're not going to live someplace else so their portfolio has like $100 billion extra dollars out of their $500 billion fortune. They're not going to do that. They say that they're going to do it because they want to stop getting taxed, but they don't actually care enough to fully move. And we know this because the rich have almost never actually moved after making that threat. How would you business tax them if they leave? They're not going to leave. That's what I'm telling you. One of the perks of being rich is that you don't need to. Like, they don't want to move and they don't need to move even if they get taxed more. It's just an idle threat that the media parrots nonstop, and there's no data that actually backs it up. The rich historically do not leave when they are taxed.
Also, if billionaires leave, good riddance. Let new people start business to
Oh,
fill
and one
those
of them
gaps
left.
and actually pay taxes and fair wages.
I mean, if one of them were to leave, presumably the money that they have has already been taxed. So, like, if they want to leave, they can. I do think that moving their money, however, if you're moving your money overseas or something like that, maybe there's like some kind of tax to like do that. I don't know. Above a significant amount. But yeah, if they want to move their funds, they're free to do so. It's a free country. They're leaving the UK though. Well, that's because the UK kind of sucks right now.
Elon Musk.
I'm going to go to Marco
report
Rubio.
on
I'm
the
going to go to the
success of
State
Doge?
Department. What he talks about is he killed like 200. He created a code to kill zombie payments. He talks about how he was able to be nominally effective,
Jack,
but when he
you know she won't have an original thought. She has to ask Grok. Also, the bad guys in movies use ideologies as masks to cover their narcissism. Like how the Nazis called themselves socialist.
Right. Exactly. You got this, Plutius.
references why he wasn't capable of being super effective. He talks about the bureaucracy and the corruption and the bloat and how it was more entrenched than he ever imagined. It doesn't mean it wasn't
I
there.
don't need to hear Elon Musk try and justify why he failed so miserably.
What we found with USAID cuts, and by the way, they haven't all been cut. The parts of USAID that we found to be even slightly useful were transferred to the State Department. So they've not been deleted. They've simply been transferred to the State Department. But many times over with USAID and other organizations, when they said, "Oh well, this is going to help, children, or it's going to help some disease eradication or something like that," and then when we ask for any evidence whatsoever, I say, "Well, please connect us with this group of children so we can talk to them and understand more about their issue." We get nothing. We don't even try to come up with a show orphan, meaning like it's sort of like, well, can we at least see a few kids? Like, where are they? If they're in trouble, we'd like to talk to them and talk to their caregivers. Okay, well, and then we get nothing as a response because it's what we find is an enormous amount of fraud and graft.
Okay, let me put this example to you.
Very little of it actually gets to the kids, if anything at all.
You heard me say it, but I'll say it again. I'm a huge fan of Skims Intimates. They make the stretchiest underwear.
Oh, we don't need that. We don't need you to talk about undies to us.
Like malaria aid from multiple different agencies just to the State Department. You don't think that could be helpful? No benefit there? Or drawing some attention?
I think actually when you get rid of institutional knowledge about the way that systems work and logistics, and you do this particularly in the method in which they did it, I think it's actually incredibly damaging. Yeah.
So when all of this moves over to the State Department or the USDA, you think?
Also, I guess my argument is if there are 157 billionaires as of, May 15th of this year in Britain. Tax them. There should be no billionaires in Britain. The government of the UK and I know I'm using Britain and UK interchangeably here, apologies. But the government of the UK should not be beholden to the whims of 157 people. It should be beholden to the whims of the general public, the people who live and work and die in the UK. Like, if these, people in the UK are so disloyal to their country that they would drop it at the, first inconvenience to their massive fortunes, the likes of which the billions of us that live on this planet could never even dream of, then, like, let them go. Fuck them. If they want to go abroad, don't let them back in until they pay their tax bills.
In fact, I think the USDA, look, we already know.
You don't think there's
we already know
philanthropies that are engaged and involved, NGOs that are engaged and involved? You don't think that there's... If you worked for USAID and you were involved in...
If you worked for USDA, your number one agenda would be trying like boost big ag, essentially.
It was the same
and so
thing with food
the
for
idea,
peace, Sam. It was the same. That's why I told you it's a red herring. It's the
I don't
same.
think you know what red herring means.
Oh, Sam's getting salty. Look at him. Look at him about to sip from that mug.
It's a distraction away from a key issue. I'll give you I knew you were going to say that, actually. I pulled you the exact definition.
The fact that you had to pull up the definition of red herring is genuine. Like, the fact that you think it's an own, that you're like, I bet you were going to ask. You had to pull up the definition of red herring because you didn't know it already. That's actually a self-own. She doesn't even realize it.
The deaths of children.
Yeah, she grokked it.
And of other people looking
the
for
deaths
aid
of
is
children. Here, a red herring is a piece of information, clue, or line of argument that misleads.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna do something here. Oh, that's awesome. The AI overview also is verbatim the same. A red herring is a piece of information, argument, or clue meant to mislead or distract from the real issue or answer. And it goes on, the concept appears as a common misdirection technique across several fields, most notably logic, literature, and finance.
Or distracts from the original relevant topic or issue, which was bloat, corruption, ghost receipts,
It isn't verbatim. Fuck. Sad. Wait a minute. Wait, actually.
Original relevant topic or issue, which was bloat, corruption, ghost receipts, middlemen skimming money, bureaucracy,
and none of the bloat
fake invoices
was dealt with.
I'm kind of wondering here if she did pull all of this up and is having it put on a screen for her to read, or if she has like a Gemini listening device or something that is just like feeding her answers via AI. I do wonder if that's the case.
That's not true.
You just agreed.
Some of it, Sam. He's very clear.
You just agreed that it's that all of the nefarious colonial things have just moved to other agencies.
Is it possible that we're saying the same thing? You were worried about food aid, and I'm telling you not to worry. It's still happening. That's
I was worried about
food aid. You were worried about food aid, and I said, don't worry. That is still going to happen. That is a red herring, and it is still happening 100%. No,
the argument even that Rodale made in his book was not that the food aid wasn't real, is that it was delivered in a way that whose agenda was to primary benefit big ag in this instance.
Okay, so let's address it.
And that he said it's actually not the case that
disaster
direct aid is disaster aid. He thinks there should be more of it.
That's disaster aid. So this is ongoing aid. And just the fact that
I specifically in that Piers Morgan thing.
I'm behind live. The Michaels Seder convo felt like she was complaining to a manager. It does kind of have the vibes of like she's providing a set of Karen complaints to the manager of politics, you know? Excuse me, young man, I'd like to talk to your manager. Yes, young man Hassan, I'd like to talk to your manager, please. He comes out with Uncle Cedar. Unc Cedar. Unc Cedar in the wings. Uncle Sam.
Talked about, I can't remember the amount now, but it was in
Do you know that the USDA purchased 211 million?
What did the herring ever do to you? Do you think the herring was always red? It pulled a knife, man. It's red in the blood of its enemies.
11,000 metric tons of food on February 3rd for disaster food relief.
There were tons of like food that for malnourished kids who couldn't digest actual food.
Yes,
So it's like
that
this
was
pre-digested stuff, and that all just rotted.
No, it didn't. It did not.
Really?
It did not, Sam. So that tweet was put out on March 3rd. I think John Favreau put it out. Elon Musk responded immediately and said the contract was reinstated 2 weeks back. And it was put through the USDA. And on February 3rd, the USDA said, we are buying 211,000 metric tons of emergency food aid. That is disaster relief. We're not.
Yeah, and Elon Musk would never go on the internet and lie. Except for that time he role-played as his, 3-year-old child on the internet. And that time he was caught impersonating his mother on the internet. You know, other than that, he would never lie.
Talking about disaster relief. That's not actually what that book is about. It is
Elon Musk, famous for telling his truths and doing Nazi salutes.
About I can.
Well, he does mention disaster relief in there. Actually,
no one is. There's not one person.
Disaster readiness.
No
25% cut.
The reason she gets really upset here is because Sam actually knows what he's talking about, and she just wants to go in circles forever until Sam leaves, I guess. I genuinely don't know what her game plan is anymore. It's pretty bad.
Sam, $1 of aid does not equate to food or medication.
Some percentage of it does.
So when you're cutting things, I'm going to say it one more time. They're cutting duplication. They're cutting bloat. They're cutting.
Mecha Hitler. Would Elon Musk lie?
Yeah, I mean, would the man who created an AI he dubbed Mecha Hitler, do you think he would lie?
Corruption.
According to.
So you think?
Elon
Okay, so
Musk.
real quick, you think? I'm just curious. You think that Big Ag was going to let anything be cut from that contract? Do you?
Or
not that contract. I mean, they're
I will
tied.
tell you this right now.
Do you think that they were going to allow that? Because they didn't.
How does she think we get food? I'm going to let you guys in on a secret. There are some people in this world who do not think ever, for even a second, about who makes the things that they need to live, right? Or how the things that they need to live get to where they initially encounter them in a grocery store or something, you know? There are people who just never think about it. Don't think about where underwear comes from. Don't think about the logistics of how, undies get to the store. Don't think about how food is produced and makes its way to their table. There are people who just don't think about that. And I think Jillian Michaels is one of those people who, just doesn't really think about it.
I think.
Do you think that
Donald
happened?
Trump and Elon Musk could have cut any contract they wanted to,
but
and they
didn't.
Specifically did not cut the contracts you're talking about.
Which was exactly what
But
I
they
told
did
you.
cut a bunch of other stuff that help people.
Which is exactly what I told you on Piers Morgan. Which is why I told
the way
you.
I interpret it. I must have misunderstood.
All right. Well, then forgive me. I would hope actually that you and I may see eye to eye on this, because ongoing aid does create dependency, and it creates it by design. And if this is not, listen, I'm not trying to say, oh, you got it wrong. I'm trying to just show you something so that maybe you'll agree with me and we'll have some common ground. So the way that these guys do this, right, it comes in phases. And this is, I'm not trying to be condescending. I'm literally just trying to educate the audience. Should they be confused at all. This has gone on since the 50s. And it was started by Eisenhower, and Kennedy rebranded it as Food for Peace, and it moved through U.S. aid. Trump in 20.
What's the brand called? Imogene Olivia. Imogene Olivia, check it out. It's gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes. Also tested with cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is comfortable, non-tucking, sexy lingerie. Go check it out. ImogeneOlivia.com. Just use ! lingerie to get a link in any of the chats. And let's keep on going.
25 on February 3rd, moved it to the USDA and made it all tied aid. So tied aid means that it has to come from our ag companies and ship through our shipping companies. This is, in fact, terrible. And other countries give cash.
You did the opposite of what you are advocating.
100%. Oh, that's what I would advocate with food policy. Absolutely. I'd like to see 24 million that was given to the Children of God orphanage in Kenya that was trafficking kids. I'd like to see that go away. Yes. And the thing is, you also don't, in all fairness, you don't really know anything about me, Sam. I have been doing this a long time.
I don't.
I get it,
Jillian,
but when you
don't
say,
understand. I don't
care. I know, but then don't make
care.
accusations.
Sam, you don't know anything about my past. I don't care.
If you don't know.
I was responding.
Can anyone direct me to a channel that plays music and talks about it? All genres, vibes. You know, there's a really great one called The Needle Drop. Just a really, really great one. Everyone should check it out. Run by this fella, Anthony Fantano. Very cool individual. Everyone should check that out. He's very funny. I know, Phoenix. I'm clouded with you. I see. There's a little green highlight of your message that tells me you're a raider. I know. I'm joshing you.
To what you said on that program, and you said that the kids were a red herring
because they were going to get the food anyway.
No, they didn't get the food. Hundreds of thousands of them have become starving. What are you talking about?
No.
I
so when I said the bloat and corruption is not about that.
The cuts.
So she can't. She's incapable of hearing the words out of his mouth because she's too busy, like, looking at AI bullshit.
I've just quoted from an article from April 22nd.
And tell me, what did they cut though, Sam? So when you say malarial relief, could it be a cut in duplication? Is that possible?
No.
Could it be? Could it be a cut in bureaucracy? Could it be a cut in ghost payments? Is it possible, Sam?
Do you think you were successful?
We're a little bit successful. We were somewhat successful. I mean, we stopped a lot of funding for that really just made no sense. That was just entirely wasteful. Where we're like, for example, there was probably $100, maybe $200 billion worth of zombie payments per year, which simply by enforcing that there be a payment code and an explanation for the payment, that the payment.
Hey, instead of listening to Elon Musk babble creepily, I'm going to give this quote from a couple of ProPublica journalists who went to South Sudan to see what was happening and what the effects of these U.S. aid cuts were. Here's a quote. Everyone, especially in South Sudan, wanted to know if the U.S. really had cut off aid. It was easier for them to believe that the aid organizations were lying to them than to think that the United States would do this. This is according to Anna Maria Berry-Jester, a journalist with ProPublica, alongside her colleague Brett Murphy. And it's some truly heinous stuff. Like, we've sent journalists to places that were receiving a lot of U.S. aid funding. The reports are out there on what's happening, and it's not good. People are dying. Right? It is
Jillian might not be the brightest loser, but she is the biggest.
That is indeed the case, Corey Springer. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Let's jump back in.
Would not go out.
Also, folks, we have about 15 minutes before I'm hopping off to go pick up my partner from work. So, we're going to make the most of the time we've got left. And, we'll come back with a part 2 maybe later tonight or tomorrow. We'll see.
Do Doge again, knowing what you know now?
I mean, the thing is, I think instead of doing Doge, I would have basically built, worked on my companies, essentially. So, and the cars, they wouldn't have been burning the cars.
You gave up a lot to do Doge.
Yeah. Like if you stop money going to going for political corruption, they will lash out big time.
Mm-hmm.
This feels incredibly unrelated to anything they've been talking about.
So they really want the money to keep flowing. So if you stop it from flowing,
Thanks, Ms. Heyer.
There's like a very strong reaction to stopping the money flowing.
I spoke to a guy who worked at USAID for
Jack,
10 years.
I must admit, every time you plug Imogene Olivia, my brain changes it to Imogen, Laura Bailey's character for Critical Role C3, and adds the tag. For the sexy psionic who loves her undead GF.
It's true. It does kind of sound like that a little bit, Pluvius. And thank you for the $5 dono. Also, Phoenix, I own South of Midnight. I haven't had the time to play it yet, but I do fully intend to still play it at some point. I just have to, become bigger than Hassan, then I'll have some free time to play video games, Maybe. Someday.
Possible, I know, and the guy literally didn't even know that we funded COVID partly through USAID. There's...
Yo!
Seriously, go have a date or something tonight.
Penny Auntie, thank you for the $100 dono. Very much appreciated. Thank you so goddamn much. Hot diggity damn.
You're suggesting that we created COVID.
I do believe so, yes. Okay. I think that we funded.
Thank you.
I do think that EcoHealth Alliance funded it through money that came from the NIH and the USAID. And I do think that that string of emails from Morenz and Dazik is fairly good evidence of that fact. I do believe that, yeah. And so does the FBI. I think the CIA does now. That's a generally well-recognized, I'm not going to say fact, but thought, belief. If you don't think so, that's totally fine. We could litigate it a different time. I do think we did, yeah.
You don't think we did it on purpose, do you?
I have no idea why we would do it. I do know the theories about gain-of-function research. I can't necessarily tell you I think they're entirely altruistic.
It's research on how diseases are likely to evolve and what might come about if they evolve in certain ways. It's actually really important to know that and to gain that information so we can properly respond to future epidemics, because sometimes that happens when human beings go about doing human shit.
I mean, the argument is well, we're just studying what would happen.
So do you support the...
Yeah, because knowing what would happen if certain factors align is really important, and sometimes you discover really cool things that germs or viruses can do. Useful insights can be gleaned, new compounds discovered. It's actually a very good and useful thing to do.
Things like patent reform and antitrust,
of course,
that would prevent these agents. And so, how is it do you see yourself supporting an administration that has had total control of our government, that has broached laws and constitutional authority to do whatever they want, and they haven't done any of this stuff that would actually in any way...
They have in health. They have in health.
Oh,
I'll give you a few.
They've hurt. I mean...
Yeah, a great example, actually, of gain of function is, experimenting with, super viruses, super bugs that aren't able to be dealt with normal or traditional antibiotics, right? You develop those in lab conditions so that you can then, expose them, see what new therapies might work, if they achieve greater abilities to withstand antibiotics. It's actually a really important job. Bye, Phoenix.
I'll give you
like just even most recently, they have rolled back meat processing for that matter. There was a huge antitrust case against the meat packers.
What are you? Incredible, talented, beautiful, astonishing, knowledgeable, charming, funny, loquacious. Well, I'm many things and more.
And
Trump
Donald
is
Trump's
definitely
former
like
defense attorney, who's now the head of the DOJ, basically just let them walk away from what was clearly a case that was going to be found to they have violated antitrust. You see the consolidation of big ag across the country.
But do you think this is unique to his administration? It's not.
I think it's
you do. I don't think so at all.
Intensity.
Yeah, the degree to which this administration acts in this way is unique. Like the actions in and of themselves, moving money around, that's not a unique function of the Trump administration. The degree to which money is being shuffled around right now, agencies are being shuttered and destroyed, that is unique. Kind of like it's not unique to go outside and the weather be like 70 degrees. It is unique if you go outside and the weather like is 578 degrees. You know, like there is a level at which intensity is notable, right? I feel like that's not difficult to understand.
And I
Without
would
a
tell
doubt.
you, okay.
I mean,
don't
because all of these
I've worked for
antitrust
numerous
cases that were
administrations, though,
being
Sam.
brought
I
were being
worked
brought
with the
by
Clintons.
Biden's
I
administration.
worked with the Obama administration on this. I don't
Listen,
actually
I have
work with
problems
Maha.
Obama on antitrust without a doubt. But under the Biden administration, all of these antitrust cases were
Kalia, thank you for the 450 joules. I appreciate it.
Lined up. And the Trump administration has basically just ejected them. I mean, that's it.
But I'm not arguing with you about that. If you're asking me what I see evil and I see the need to pick a lesser one. If there's a different option, that would be wonderful. I'm not actually
So you consider Trump the lesser
I
evil?
do.
Who's the lesser evil?
I do. I actually do.
And in what respect?
Okay, I'll give you an example in the area that I'm in is my wheelhouse. So when it comes to health, let's say insurance, pharma, food policy. With Trump, you get one and you lose one. You get one and you lose one.
What's the one you get?
Okay. So when Kennedy redesigned, we'll call it, the food guidelines, it's not just an infographic. So it guides hundreds of millions in subsidy flows. Now, by doing that, by redesigning it, what he's forcing is
Again, her citations are just AI bullshit. It's crazy. I can't.
By doing that, by redesigning it, what he's forcing more of our tax dollars to go towards healthier food, and he's forcing areas, food deserts. Okay, so what's going to fund? What is the food?
America's all about freedom unless you want to force poor people to do things, I guess. In Jillian Michaels' mind.
Pyramid fund, right? It's going to fund lunch for our kids in school, military, it's prisons, all.
Do you think the USA is better than the UK? Not really. I think the UK, I wish the UK had learned from the US's example, is my take on it. Both are going down a very similar decline. It would have been great if one of us could have learned from the other. But yeah, right now the US is pretty uniquely bad at the moment.
All that stuff. That's what guides what gets fed to your kids in public school, for example, or our soldiers in the military. By changing that, we're forcing the funding of healthier options, and we're forcing their availability into 250, I think Brooke Rollins said 250,000 locations where you have food deserts. That's a win. Going
wait. So how are the food deserts?
It's crazy to me that she's like, it's great to have food deserts, also, understanding that like government policy can affect like behavior, right? But for whatever reason, Republicans and conservatives only ever seem to think of how government policy affects poor people's behaviors and not the behaviors of the ultra wealthy, That's what I think we should be more concerned about. We should be concerned about what the ultra wealthy are doing and not so much with what people who need government assistance to afford fruit are doing.
It's being, I mean,
because they take SNAP. Because they take SNAP.
Mamdani, first of all, this administration has kicked tons of people. I mean, 3 to 4 million people off of SNAP.
Okay,
and more,
let's go through. So what do you agree with about that, and what don't you? I'll tell you what I don't agree with about.
Mamdani is actually literally addressing food deserts with the city-owned supermarkets.
Okay, Sam, we could definitely look at the economics of Mamdani. They've done it before in New York in the 70s, and it didn't work. And that supermarket is.
There are rural grocery stores in towns of like 150 people that are able to successfully run as community-run enterprises. If a small town in the middle of podunk nowhere can do that, New York City certainly can too. Like, it's not a difficult argument to make, but Jillian Michaels just doesn't know enough about this policy to be making arguments like this.
$30 million for one market? It happens in 4 years when his term is up?
If you think you should go more aggressively on it, I'm with you on that. But
imagine being so illiterate that you don't know how to spell communism.
So
I don't think it works, but I would definitely get an
RFK in changing the food pyramid is going to deal with food deserts. How's that happening?
Okay, here's how it happens. If a place that takes SNAP benefits, right? If they take SNAP benefits, they are forced to offer what the guidelines recommend. I could even find you, if someone could find me a clip, like Brooke Rollins says she is going to demand now that 250,000 locations carry healthier options. Can I guarantee?
How is she going to demand?
Because
that?
if they take, you can't take SNAP if you don't offer the food on the.
The market solution here is we've subsidized food purchases.
Yes,
and if we don't allow,
I'd like to subsidize.
I really hope Sam brings up a really important component about like government-run grocery stores. That we have already federally funded grocery stores in the form of like groceries on military bases. Like members of the military have places on base where they can buy like different goods that they need, to live, right? And like the food there is generally more affordable than elsewhere. Because it's offered like at cost, effectively. It's not like these stores aren't being run for profit, and like the U.S. government has been utilizing this for a very, very long time, and so people who are in the military have access to these, obviously, but average people don't. The only difference between the kind of store being run on a military base and the kind of store that Mamdani is proposing is that one is run by the city rather than by the federal government and the Pentagon budget.
Healthier food, the food pyramid directs those subsidy flows. So
would have to.
Yeah, the commissaries on military bases, they're very good.
Argue that there is enough of a margin for those people to acquire the foods that you're talking about without any other subsidies, just that the market forces there are going to do it, so that these small bodegas that may exist in these food deserts, for instance, they're gonna buy the fresh fruit and produce.
If they take
without
SNAP,
any other
they
incentive.
have to offer the food that the pyramid recommends.
The SNAP, their only eligibility is associated with having to offer those. And you think that there is any type of enforcement mechanism that's going to come in and do that?
I do.
What is the enforcement?
What do you think
What's
about
the budget that's
What do you
been
think about
added to
food
the
in
FDA
schools?
to
How do you
do
think
that?
that flows?
Like That's the thing. And the point Sam's making here is it takes money to enforce new regulations. Or at least it takes money to add an enforcement arm to an agency. Just changing food pyramid regulations doesn't automatically provide like inspectors for every bodega in New York City.
What directs that? What directs food in schools? What directs the food that we feed to the military? What
directs it?
Yeah, like what informs if your kid went to a public school, what would inform what's on their plate?
Well,
like how the state opts to use its budget to feed children, right? Like that's why, for example, in Minnesota, we passed legislation not that long ago that allows students to have free lunch and breakfast. Like the schools then are the school districts are then contracted with like different providers for ingredients, etc., and then the meals are prepared at the school. Like it's not necessarily a federally guided program.
In New York City, I mean, it's programs that are city based. Now, certainly there's federal money available for specific schools.
Public school.
Also, I want to point out something. Even in this, the Dietary Guidelines for Americans and Scientific Recommendations from the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine are primarily informed. Informed is not enforced. Informed is not, mandated. Informed is doing a lot of work there in this AI overview. Right? Like, the federal guidelines do not dictate what schools can serve.
Money available for specific schools.
Public schools are the food in front of your kid, if they go to a public school, is directed by the food pyramid. That's why it's more than just an infographic.
It's not directed by the food pyramid. Man, this is really stupid. That isn't true. The food pyramid doesn't have any legal weight to it.
Get it. I can tell you, though, that the food varies from public school to public school. Having sent 2 kids to public school in New York City, it is a function of a lot of things. It is not just one set of foods. And yes, I get that the food pyramid does that, but
I'll give you 2 other examples. I'll give you 2 other examples. How about
the FDA has not issued a single new food
was the
regulation.
first pyramid that was brought to Earth by the food aliens.
An event portrayed in the documentary series Fighting Food-Ons.
The FDA has not banned
one of the most racist children's television shows of all time.
And a single chemical in any food.
That's not true. They banned one, and they're reevaluating the grass rule. That's not true. So now, so the way the grass rule works,
they have asked the industry to remove certain dyes. And stuff,
they have 3 years, I believe, to do that, and that is not enough. There are thousands of chemicals.
It's not a ban. It's a.
I feel compelled to show you this, even though I know it has literally nothing to do with anything that's happening in this conversation.
Here's something incredible. These monsters once were edible, so everybody take a look at combat creatures you can cook. Fighting Poodles, battling or in between. Fighting Poodles, this is really neat routine. Pick the right ingredients to make the food obedient.
Depending on the spice you add, your food on could be really bad.
Fighting Poodles, brutal or even cute. Fighting Poodles, it's food with attitude. Carefully select your recipes.
Pizza will attack with gooey cheese.
Power up the fried rice with some peas. What will win? Italian or Chinese? If anything's left over, you can freeze.
So
money donations for a brawl to start a kitchen free for all. And when your monster takes a fall, whip off a little matzo ball. Fighting Buddha, Bruno, even Jude. Fighting Buddha, it's return with attitude.
I am baffled that I even saw that for a goddamn moment as a youth. Is this Pokemon with food? Yeah, and with different national contexts.
It's an ask. But okay.
I don't believe so. Red number, I think it's 40. It has to be removed.
You know what? We have to stop here. I gotta go do stuff in the real world, but thank you all for being here. Thank you all for supporting the show. Thank you all for making this show possible. And you know what? We'll do a part 2 either later tonight, like maybe late tonight, or tomorrow. Thank you for joining me, folks. Hit that follow button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, do the things. Check out ImogeneOlivia.com. Organize with your local Dems. Organize with your local DSA.
That clip says, let's make food wars, but use Digimon as a base instead of hentai.
True, Pluvius. That is... God, Food Wars is way too horny for what it's about. All right. Bye, everybody.
Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Seder, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Seder, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Seder, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Seder, what a fucking nightmare.
I always respect people who enter into the arena. You do anything you can to avoid the debate. Come on, man. No idea that you were taking your show off early last time.
I had no idea this was going to happen. Oh no, Sam Seder, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Seder, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Seder, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Seder, what a fucking nightmare.
I always respect people who enter into the arena.
Seems that Steven Crowder had gotten some cold feet, so I don't think he's coming.
Why is that?
I would love to ask him myself. He's not even answering anymore.
Oh no, Sam Seder, what a fucking nightmare. 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 I had no idea this was going to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up